Baxter studio altyd so klein bietjie sosiale angs by almal veroorsaak. Hoekom is dit so? Is dit omdat ons vir ons baie goeie kollegas baie keer hier raak sien en omdat ons mekaar se werk ondersteun en baie graag hoor dit moet slaag en so aan. Maar ons weet ook dat so 'n projek altyd eindig met 'n groot gejuig. En dit is my groot voorreg om julle almal hier te verwelkom. Dit was sover 'n baie opwindende jaar. Baie van julle kom nou van die Silverskermfees af en julle almal lyk baie goed. As enige een van julle nou nog sosiale angs het, weet net my hare is heeltemal verkeerd gesny voor die Silverskermfees en dra nou nog die gevolge. En die flappies steek heeltyd uit. Cornelia sal my daarop wys. Goed, die Teksmark natuurlik dit is al 8 jaar oud. Die goedjaar is heeltemal synoniem daarmee, hy is die artistieke direkteur van die KAK&K. Dit word moontlik gemaak deur Nati, die Etienne Maree Fonds en natuurlik die Baxter. Geef hulle almal 'n groot handeklap. Ek gaan eers vir Hugo na vore roep om amptelike opening te doen en dan sal ek gou vir julle verduidelik hoe die dag gaan verloop. Baie dankie, Hugo Theat, die artistieke direkteur van die KAK&K.
Hallo almal, ek gaan nie baie lank praat nie. Soos ek kan sien, gewoonlik doen ek die aanbieding self dwars deur die fees. En hierdie jaar, dankie Kabous Meyering dat jy ja gesê het. It's wonderful to have you here and congratulations on your film. Kabous se wortels lê natuurlik ook in theater. So ons is trots as nou daar speel sy nou met televisie en met film, maar ons weet dat haar hart en haar wortels lê definitief in theater. Baie welkom. Ek kan nie glo dat ons hier so staan and that it's the 8th year that we present this project. Die projek is gebore uit 'n nodigheid wat ons gesien het om vir skrywers, 'n fokus op skrywers te sit. En dit is wat dit is. Dit is 'n fokus op die skrywers en op nuwe idees, teksidees. So baie van die tekste wat julle gaan sien is nie volledige tekste al nie, want dit is net letterlik dalk die uittreksel wat julle sien op die verhoog en die idee wat dalk verder kan ontwikkel. The idea is to present it to an audience who can give feedback, funders who might be interested to take it further. En die gedagte was ook van Teksmark dat jy weet skrywers word verwag om hulle tekste volledig te skryf en of self te vervaardig of tot rond te gaan en dan af mense te stuur in die hoop dat so 'n teks uiteindelik op die planke gesit kan word. Wat nie altyd gebeur nie. En dan word daai teks maar in die laai gesit. So Teksmark is 'n totale eksperimentele spasie waar ons vir skrywers geleentheid gee om daai teksidees te toets en te kyk of dit kan vlekke kry. Soms kry dit vlekke en soms doen dit nie en soms gaan mense terug en hulle herskryf en dan kry ons heeltemal nuwe teks. En dit het al gebeur met Teksmark dat van die tekste uiteindelik so 2-3 jaar later met 'n bietjie aanpassings en 'n bietjie veranderings wel vervaardig word. Ons het Liz en I nou geneem met help uit die afgelope Teksmark het ons 110 voorstelle hierdie jaar gekry. Julle gaan 18 voorstelle hierso sien, maar oor die afgelope 8 jaar is daar 125 tekste aangebied by Teksmark. Waarvan uiteindelik en as volledige produksies, ek dink dit is iets soos 35 produksies ontwikkel is. Wat ek dink ongelooflik is. En dit kan alleenlik gebeur met verskillende vennote wat inkom en mense wat uiteindelik die geld op die tafel sit om die tekste te ontwikkel en ook die produksies. So aan almal wat oor die jare tekste moontlik gemaak het, produksies moontlik maak en dis ook 'n industrie ondersteunende bedryf, die kunstebedryf. Vir ons gehoor het die beste moontlike reg Suid-Afrikaanse stories, reg Suid-Afrikaanse tekste. Baie dankie vir daai ondersteuning. Ek wil baie dankie sê vir die Nasionale Afrikaanse Theater-inisiatief NATI wat hierdie projek van die begin af ondersteun het. So ook die Baxter Theater Kompleks wat ook van die begin af net onmiddellik gesê het, ja, ons wil deel wees hiervan. Ongelooflik baie dankie. Ons waardeer julle ondersteuning en dat julle alles so maklik en dit voel nou, dit is so huis hier, so dit is baie lekker. Aan julle almal, ek gaan niemand uitsonder vandag nie, ek gaan dit in Kabuis later oorlaat, as hy net so vol. Baie welkom, Kabuis gaan verduidelik hoe dit alles werk. Dit is so lekker om baie van julle nou vir die eerste keer in 'n baie lang tyd weer te sien. En ek hoop, ek kan nie wag om saam met julle te sien wat hierdie jaar hier gebeur. So welkom en ek hoop julle geniet dit.
Ek gaan dan ook die mikrofoon los. Iets wat baie bekend word in ons bedryf is nou die woord veelsidigheid. Dit voel vir my amper of all-rounder. Dis amper 'n woord wat 'n mens maar kan begin los. Want dis outomaties wat gebeur as jy in die Suid-Afrikaanse uitvoerende bedryf, kom ons gee dit 'n breë naam, werk. En ek het toevallig vir Hugo gesien die dag toe hy gehoor het hy het die job gekry by die KAK&K en hy was ongelooflik mismoedig en ongelooflik bly. En ek het nie mooi geweet hoe om te reageer nie. Maar ek dink die groot vrees vir 'n kreatiewe persoon is dat wanneer jy by 'n organisasie aansluit, jy moontlik gaan moet ophou, innoveer of kreatief wees en so aan. En ek is seker ons kan almal nou sien dat dit nie die geval is nie. Veral as ons kyk na die feeste hoofde. En hier goed, die hoeveelheid inisiatief wat jy aan die dag gelê het met nuwe idees en so aan, waar sit jy nou? Dis ongelooflik, waarvan die Teksmark natuurlik een is en ek is bly jy vertel presies hoeveel produksies al hier uitgekulmineer het. En dan die ander ding wat vir my na in die hart lê is gesprek. So, mense, kan jy sien hoe bewe my bene? Sjoe. Awesome, ek gaan nou praat oor wellness. Gesprek en wellness. Gesprek is van kardinale belang. En hierdie sal ek miskien sê terwyl van streaming. Dis 'n ander tegniese punt is julle moet op die mikrofoon praat, selfs al praat julle uit die gehoor uit, want ons word regstreeks gestroom. En die kykers by die huis kan hoor as ons op die mikrofoon praat. So, gesprek is van so 'n aard deesdae dat ons deur 'n klomp fases is. Ons het almal, daar was gespot met wokeness, daar was erns oor wokeness, daar was cancel culture. Daar was voor dit 'n tyd waar daar sensuur was, waar monde gesnoer is en so voort. Vir my is die wonder van die Teksmark dat jy weer by die skrywer begin. En beide, of Cornelia Hugo en Lara Voet, het dit in hulle voorwoord geskryf, dat dit hier by die skrywer begin. Ons is dankbaar vir skrywers, want dit is waar gesprek vir ons begin. En hier binne in hierdie kamer is daar geen taboes nie en geen heilige koeie nie. En ek was al so baie in die moeilikheid dat ek julle sal help om uit die moeilikheid uit te bly. So moenie bang wees. Moenie bang wees om hier vrae te vra nie. Dit gaan oor opbouende kritiek. Daar was 'n fantastiese beoordelaarspaneel wat gekyk het na hierdie tekste. Hulle is almal hier. Llandi Beeslaar is ook hier. Herman van der Westhuizen is hier. Marina Swanepoel is hier. Manny Manning is hier. Hy was een van die beoordelaars, ek weet Saartjie Botha, ek is seker presies wie almal wat 'n rolle gespeel het nie, J.B. Abrams speel se opvuld, maar hulle is hier om julle te ondersteun en verdere vrae te antwoord. Marina Griebenau is hier, sy's 'n fantastiese resensent ook. En dan is hier julle kollegas en vriende en mede-regisseurs en skrywers en mense wat dalk regtig graag ook by hierdie bedryf wil aansluit. So dis oop gesprek, elke gesprek gaan op sy eie trant aan, afhangend van die teks, of dit tegnies gaan wees of onderwerp gedrewe, maar die vloer is nie myne nie, dit is ook julle sin. Elke keer gaan die formaat van die opvoering so klein bietjie verskil, dit hang af van die teksskrywers of hulle 'n inleiding wil gee en miskien agtergrond. As hulle nie wil nie, sal die opvoering dadelik begin en dan sal ons na die tyd die gesprek begin. Ons het nie so baie tyd nie, maar ek gaan net gou die klein gap vat om vir julle te sê dat ek ongelooflik moeg is vir die wellness bedryf. Ek weet nie hoe julle daaroor voel nie, maar deesdae behoort jy K2 te eet elke dag, cod liver oil, en dit lyk my post-veganism het ook aangebreek. Jy moet nou weer vars, rou, grass-fed, obviously, beeslewer eet. Ek weet nie wie van julle dit doen nie, maar ek sou skat, ons is eintlik heeltemal fyn met die theaterbedryf, drink genoeg water, ek wou sê bly warm, maar eerder trek julle baadjies uit. In hierdie land het ons nie net ekstreme klimaat wat betref die omgewing nie, maar ook wat betref politiek, die kuns en teater, die uitvoerende wêreld soos ek gesê het. En ek dink dis 'n reuse voorreg. Baie dankie. Eerste op is dan Jason Jacobs en Delmar met Kontrapunt. Yes.
Hello, my name is Devon, and I'm co-writer with Jason Jacobs on Kontrapunt. Apologies for not being able to be there in person today. I had to do a bit of traveling some out of town. But my role in today's proceedings, just as this disembodied voice speaking to you from a laptop, is just to provide a brief introduction to the project, and then Jason and Lwanda will take things further. So Kontrapunt tells the stories of a married couple, a brother and sister, and two student housemates as their lives intertwined in one space, a kitchen. These 6 characters are all in one physical location, but across 3 distinct time periods. So in other words, we see them all exist simultaneously in that one room as residents of the same flat, but in different years. And what this means in terms of South African history is they exist in very different social contexts. Their manner of dress and speech and technologies all differ as they enter and exit this room constantly, and yet the duos never interact with each other. A tense mood hangs over the room. So all 6 characters are expecting a knock on the door that's going to arrive at any minute. It's the arrival of a visitor that will change their lives in different ways.
Thank you, Devon, disembodied voice. Hey everyone. Thank you for having us. Thank you so much for allowing us to be here and share this work with you. We are in early stages of our development in terms of writing the script. We hope to have a completed script by early next year. And we haven't yet reached a point where we know what kind of designers we would like to work with, which composer we would like to work with, and we're looking forward to the journey ahead. My brother?
Hello, my name is Lwanda Sindaphi, and I'm not going to say a lot, but I can answer a lot after the performance. But what we are going to see now is the first 20 pages of the play. Thank you so much.
something new? Yes, sis. Writing before repertoire.
Please, I don't need Lamini's voice in my head right now.
Writing before repertoire. Scales before songs. You won't progress if you only play what you know, so try.
Yeah. Have you been smoking again?
Are you done?
I'm done.
Sounding good. I could hear it from my room.
Oh, the Bach.
No, not the Bach. Your own stuff.
It's going nowhere.
You give up too soon.
It's a fragment of a fragment of a fragment. Don't know where it's gonna go yet. I've had it for days. You look nice.
Can I borrow your earrings?
Who are you meeting? It's raining.
Can I borrow your earrings?
Which ones?
The hoops.
I don't know where you lose them to.
What? No. When have I lost anything?
My charger, my mom's toenail clipper.
Oh, they were toenail clippers, stars. And I bought you new ones. What's the time there, buddy?
22:07.
There's still time?
So do I know this person?
Yeah. So the earrings.
Okay. I need to go and find them first.
So now you lost.
They're not lost. I just haven't seen them. There's a difference.
The silver ones.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Dis nou nog daar. Wat sê dan?
Ek het 4 keer aan die gang. Niels, die bank.
Annemarie. Nou luister. Eet. Ek wil die vuur sit. Vroeg in die bedkamer. Nou laat jy my bokse dra.
Men slaap is so in die middel van die dag, hè? Dink jy, Deur het dit aspres moeilik gemaak om te vind.
Skip mami ja.
Sal my nie verbaas nie.
Spreek ons Deur al het nog daai tyd met aktes en eiendomsregte en al daai klomp jazz gewaarig nie.
Dis wat vir my so die moeren maak. Ons mense dink nooit aan sulke goed doen. As jy seker weet wat is, ja? Ons tyd raak min. Hoe laat kom sy?
Was actually a doos geweest, you know. You take such a young wife so quickly after mommy.
Nog steeds vinnig met jou gears change.
Hoe ze gesê? Loafers.
Zoiets, ja.
En my accused van rent-free lewe. Al die jare. Maar sy het ook aan hier gebly, hè? Selle as ons, rent-free. Imagine jou goed huis stukkie. As wat Deur nie voor haar nie jare al hier gebly het. So hy nie die huis met sy eie sweet en bloed geëarn het. You know, they moved in here. You remember him telling us that? Over and over and over again. With pride. Bloody cheap. Bloody woman. Nog steeds 2 suiker en melk vir jou.
Ek drink nou swaar.
Wie audacity? Om vir my te loop en wil uitsit op Derry se begrafnis. Bly al die jare met die vrou en dan doen sy sulke dinge aan my. Wie dink sy is sy?
Jou ma, dis wie.
Sy weet mami lê diep onder die grond, hè?
Dankie. Sy kan aangaan oor ownership, maar met die dier sal sy nie vir jou blyplek kan refuse. Anders moet jy seker maar daar saam met my en die skape en die honders en die ganse kom bly.
Hoe gaan dit met hom?
Gaan hom met hom.
Is er nog bokse of leers of so agter in die res van die huise? Heb jy in die zolder gekyk? Harold?
Die zolder, die basement, die garage, elke kamer is behoorlik omgekeerd. En wie sê hy is Evans se dier, hè? Wie sê my naam is Evans daar opgeskryf?
Jy moet een wees. En dit sal.
I couldn't find them now. Don't lose them.
I won't. Where did you find them then?
Under the ticket box. Things keep on moving around here. So,
What? This one. Here, this composition, there's potential. See, if you maybe like hold on the A for a little longer, then you can have a little rundown trill like this. Then you can return back to the main theme over here. Nice. Yeah, nice. What's the time?
10 to 7.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna go take a shit quick. If he knocks, please just tell him to wait.
Hey, who's gonna knock? Max?
I know, it's wild, isn't it?
Oh, it's wild, isn't it?
Kan jy by die winkel uitkom?
Ek wou gaan man, by die stasie te sit en hierdie weer.
Ons net 10 meter na die stasie toe, dan gaan jy nie wegwaai nie.
Nou wil ek nou ook nie onnodig geld mors nie.
'n Bietjie son kry jy.
Ag, het is nou warm en dan sit skielik koud en dan skielik al die wind so genadeloos op. Dis asof die Here self swaar kry.
Blameer die wind en die Here. Jy my pyp iewers gewaar.
Ja.
Warm.
Het jy eens gehoor van die hond?
Nee. Ek kom nie daar van af.
Daar's 'n beloning vir wie ook al die hond gebaar of self aflewer.
Dead or alive?
Alive natuurlik. Die eienaar beloof 'n groot beloning.
Hoe groot?
Wat is 'n redelike som geld?
Rond. Seker 3. 5.
Sit nog 50 by.
Belaglik.
Hy tik ook so.
Pragtig. Ja, niet zo baie geld vir 'n brak.
Ja, is omdat dit 'n spesiale hond is.
Hoe spesiaal kan jy dan goed?
Hy is 'n special breed, 'n purebred, hulle noem hom 'n teacup poodle. Die man het die ding seker ingevoer.
Dat invoer bedoel jy? Bly die hond kos meer as 'n week se groceries.
Dit is 'n wonderlike geleentheid. Wil jy 'n bietjie te splash by Devon en die warm see?
Sal in die week nog so vol op die dak bak.
Ja, die plate lig al en dan ga ek in die muur, dit word 'n praat.
Anne-Marie.
Ja, jammer.
Ja, weet jy wat so hond is in elk geval?
Daar was 'n plakkaat.
Ons is wat uit. Waar loop die ding nou rond? Die weer. Seker lank al gekry.
Hy is hier buite. Net die hond. Ek moes sy geblaf stil kry. Ek het hom brandewyn en brood gegee.
Wat gaan in jou kop aan, Sammy?
Maar wat is die probleem, Corneels? Die hond het self hier aangekom. Die Here het vir ons die hond hiernatoe gestuur. Corneels, is die Here nie goed vir ons nie? Hy het die hond vir ons gestuur, Corneels.
Dis wel jy raak van my hou. Miskien getolereer. Hou van. Soos van gehou.
Kom aan, nee. Hy het ons albei lief gehad. Equally so.
Ek weet wat ek weet. Ek ken nie daai nie. En daai weet sy ook is vals. He loved us both equally. En terwyl sy so daar soek vir daai die. Kyk 'n bietjie of sy enige Matriekafskeidfoto's, skoolfoto's, hè? 21st foto's.
So julle reinfoute sien.
Saam met my, no? My point exactly.
Wat is dit?
Dis always. Die pype loop vanself. Veral as dit so hard reën.
Jy wil hier bly. Boete?
He says he would rather have drinks here. I don't know, like I get dressed up and everything. I mean, he tells me we're going out. Do you mind if we just use the kitchen space, Doris?
I can smell your shit.
What?
I can smell your shit from here.
Hectic.
Can you light a match, please? It smells.
Shit, is it load shedding? It's not scheduled.
Delmar se teks. Die regie is gedoen deur Lwanda Sindaphi met Blanckenberg, Waldemar, Schultz, Roxanne, Blaise, Marlo, Minnaar, Veronique, Jephtas en Qondiswa James. Hi Jason, Qondiswa. Let's start up with sorry. Jesus, what a bad start for me today. But let's orientate the audience. Jason, it is the same house, 3 different eras, 3 verschillende tydperke. En hoekom?
Ons weet nog niet. It's really an instinct. It's a gut response. It's a hunch. We're working from a space of, I think it's a hunch, but also I think it's for myself and for Devon, we've always been interested in this idea of South African history and the politics and social history and things with all of our work. And we were interested to see what could the possibilities be of putting 3 different couples on stage in the same kitchen with 3 different timelines. And to work with this metaphor of palimpsest of history, of layering of history, and this idea of living, because I'm living at the moment in Devon's house in Woodstock, and at times you sense, like you get the sense that people lived here before, and that's really why we want, why that instinct is there.
Maar dan die gemene dele hier is verlies en afwagting.
Precies.
Is dit omdat verlies so deel is van ons samelewing, of hoe sien jy dit?
Ik denk, beslis is beslis deel van ons samelewing. And I think that we all grieve differently. But the thing that he brought up so beautifully is the sense of the weight of emotions and finding that in every timeline, every couple, and how different it is for the youth, for the young people as well. But definitely an emotional, and that's also what Roxanne is playing, is she's presenting an emotional overweight body, and we're pushing for that as much as we possibly can, yes.
Yeah. So Lwanda, what are the different eras, and how did you depict that with regards to directing?
I think what is the difference is in the energies, you know, and the embodiment of those images, because they come from like different times, but they are in the same space. But there's something that they are sharing, and it's the space, you know. and their relationship with the space. And so in the directing, and I was looking at, the sharing and what does it mean to occupy one space by coming from different times, like difficult times. And I think the other thing is that, and because the first time, like in the space, the first time, the 60s, the late 50s and the early 60s, is a completely different time, because it's a time that was heavy, right, and like in many ways, and in the 80s, with the state of nations, like that the time was completely different and the space was different, and the new generation is more futuristic. So you can see it even from like a national point of view. But these characters, they're like in the play, they're not dealing with that. They're dealing with those. They are responding to those times, and from like a personal point of view, like because the stories, their personal stories, are very topical but more domestic, right? So that's what I was looking at,
Yeah, but I think if you read the whole script, this is, if you say domestic and topical, then it brings to mind, the political and the public, etc.
Yes.
Because all three of these couples, Jason, what I found quite interesting was the futuristic couple, which is contemporary, like you used the word futuristic. They're following their dreams and they can't pay the rent. We all know that. And then the couple that is from the 50s and 60s, there was heritage that wasn't really paid for by themselves. And then the couple in the 80s, I think the husband also just followed his dreams. So there's a loss of money with all three, and I found it quite interesting that this contemporary, given this thing where people throw the word millennial around and follow your dream and live your best life and blah blah blah, it seems like you even could touch on that with the couple in the 50s and 60s and the 80s.
Please explain.
No, because they, like the husband in the 50s and 60s, apparently, in the 80s, if I'm right.
50s, 60s, the brother and sister.
Yes, no, the husband in the 80s.
No, husband 50s, 60s, husband.
Which one left the north for the Cape?
The north for the Cape. This is the sister Hazel.
Okay.
In the 80s, yeah.
Okay. So someone followed his dream in the Cape, right? Am I right? Am I in the wrong plan?
I think it's something to think about, something to consider, really something to take on board. But please explain your point. I'd love to hear.
So maybe just quickly explain to the audience that Ina's character is now lying about the dog because she's trying to get money, right?
Yes.
Okay, so the contemporary couple can't pay the rent, so there's also a lot of sort of dancing and in between and a little bit of lying to just, and then the couple with the heritage of the house is looking for the papers to make sure that the house gets put on the right name.
Definitely.
So what I found refreshing was that it's not just a story about hardship because of geskiedenis. It's a story about personal choices that went wrong. And it seems like that's quite a contemporary theme, which got translated into the 50s and 60s and 80s to emphasize the domestic versus the public. Is that making sense?
Yes, it does.
It is, and something that Valdi brought up is this idea of synchronicities. Am I saying that right? And to find that in terms of if someone says something, someone in a different time and responds to it. And we're trying to do it, for example, with the smoke that you saw, but also the sense, I guess, that he's pushing for is the psychological spaces of each of the characters and sitting in that and how the difference differs, etc., and things like that.
Yeah, because the space, like if you enter a space, even if it's like it's empty, but it doesn't mean that it's empty, because the energies of the space that came before, you are still there. So if I take you maybe as like was making this example, like if I take you maybe to the Robben Island, then you would know that the people existed here in this space, like in a different way, right? So the energies that the space itself embodies history. So there are bodies that are absent but present at the same time. So the characters, when they are responding to those, they should respond to those bodies instead of just responding to the dialogue, you know, because the space like it brings everything together. It's the space that brings these 6 bodies together. So it plays a very huge role in the play. So we cannot just ignore it. Even the bodies that are not there, that are absent, are still there, you know, living through, you know, the presence of the present bodies in that space. Yeah.
And just to add on that, I think it's also because we all know that we still live in divided times.
Yes.
And I think what's beautiful about this work is to see kind of we share, what we share in common is like the emotional weight and the human problems. That's also what we're trying to bring across, is to start seeing that we actually have a lot of similarities. And by watching the work, we can hopefully find empathy for the other. And that's ideally also why we write together, myself and David as well, yeah.
I like that, all these commonalities in one house. That's going to make for wonderful directing as well. Are there any questions from the audience? Jason, I'm worried about my brain. Who's Cornelius that works in Kirsten Books?
Cornelius?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
No, I have to check this with you. I'm worried that I'm in the wrong plane. Am I in the Baxter at the moment?
It's okay. I'll get you some coffee afterwards.
No more coffee. Questions? Any comments from one of the people that's already read the play, perhaps?
Hello, my sister.
Excellent. Hello, guys. I love this play. It excites me theatrically in terms of possibilities, and what I found with I've read the play, but the excerpt has a different energy than when you're reading. What I felt was, for the first time when I saw it, when I read it I felt it too, but when I saw it, I think the space is a character on its own.
Definitely.
And when you go back to the drawing board to start treating the space as a character, so that the actors, it's not just the characters in the play that react to the space, but that the space can also react to the characters, if you know what I'm saying. Then some possibilities will open up. And I think also in terms of the directing, to really refine the different rhythms of every couple. It's there already, but you can compound it, like the 80s couple that have a slow thing happening, and you can make it basic always wins, you know? So, and the modern couple's got like a fast-paced rhythm, and then Ira and them's couple, then you have to make sure that doesn't coincide with the others to make that different. And I like that idea of when there are synchronicities, when you have all the different timelines reacting to the same thing. I know you don't want to overuse it because the knock is the climax. Then you want to make the timelines kind of coincide, but you can play around in the middle when you go back as well. With just like have certain moments where they all have like the smoke from the one period, it's making the other one cough from the other period.
Yes.
You know? That type of thing, which you can explore some more. That's all I wanted to say. Well done. I love this thing.
And Noche has been with us since the 50s.
Yeah, I also love, I think it's conceptually very clever and interesting, and I cannot believe that we haven't seen a play like this. We've seen plays about kind of, there was one of the few, but a good one, I cannot remember the title, but people kind of revisiting a home where their family used to live, that type of revisiting property. But this is completely different, and I think it's giving a very insightful view on contemporary South Africa. And I think it's at the moment that I because you kind of when you read it, you envisage, okay, that's how they're going to stage it, and some you see, but they really don't see each other, and we believe it. We buy into the concept of that, and I think it is in a country where people don't see each other. I think it's extremely powerful. I cannot wait to see the final product.
Thank you so much.
I just want to say I'm excited about the combination of the two of you together, working together. And then also, Jason, I find it interesting because it feels like a departure from what I'm used to reading from you, and the scripts like it's and you know, your work used to be extremely exciting, very good, but it's also nice to see that you are experimenting in a completely different direction, which excites me as well. I just wanted to add that.
We actually had the conversation that we tend to do work that's in folklore and in the magic, and we are excited about my initiation into becoming a full-time writer, and also for him to return to realism, because I feel like we need that today. We need to return, we need to honor the mundane of life, and I guess the magic will happen naturally.
Jason, please explain.
Of course. I think that we see that with our generation is that we tend to do plays, and we tend to make work that exists in other realms a lot. And we find that we want to go back to kind of the basics and just trust the, like you use the word domestic, trust the realism for what, just really go back there, the real, the mundane of life every day, and honor it for what it is. Because the world in itself is already magical by the fact that these people are existing at the same time.
So you'd like to, we can say that mundane becoming extraordinary.
There we go. Which in a way is magical realism, but we try not to lean on it too much.
I do buy, however, that the same couch is still in the house.
It's very realistic. Yes, thank you so much, everyone. Thank you for having us, everyone.
No, it's fine. You can carry on.
You can ask
Miriam, please. We'd love to hear what you have to say.
I like you. I'm very excited by this combination. It feels like it should have happened a long time ago. So I'm excited to see what you do together. I have a question, and maybe it's not important, but I'm interested in the concept of time travel, and I want to know conceptually, when you think about the play, do you think of time as all things existing at once all the time, or do you think of time travel in terms of it's linear, so we go back between periods, or do these things always exist at the same time for you? Maybe it's not important to you, but I would be interested. And then perhaps what was there before the house was built? Is that something that the land?
Yeah, so we had that. I won't be able to respond to the previous one, to the first question, because I think it's something to think about first. But we definitely had that in mind of having a fourth, like one person that could represent the First Nation people of the land, but also the land itself as a character. And I think it will come out in dialogue, perhaps, but not necessarily as a plot point in itself. But it's definitely something that we feel is very important to bring out. Especially if we're going to talk about ownership of land and our relationship with I think what's beautiful is that we as people will go, but the house will stay, and the memories of who was there before will remain and continue beyond this point. So yeah, definitely. Thank you, Cornelia. Sure.
Thank you, guys. We get used to our timeline today.
Sure.
So thank you, Jason, Lwanda, and then of course Devon, who's not here, disembodied.
Disembodied. Hi, Devon. Hello.
Bye.
Cool. Thank you, everyone.
Ludwig, wil jij opkomen?
Kom.
meneer Ludwig Beeslaar.
My text is written in Afrikaans, so I'm going to do the introduction as Engels, just to give the English speakers some context for what they're about to see. Shoot, what a nice guy. Now, this is the ideal opportunity to tell you a wonderfully gripping anecdote about how and when the idea for this play originated, but I don't have one. So, for a long time, this play was one of those that had no real plot, just lack of vibes. But for some reason, it kept haunting me. All I knew is that I wanted to write something about a couple, and a couple who liked to play games. And although the games were for their own amusement, it would also be a way of avoiding uncomfortable conversations. So I tried to write that. But to my great frustration, I abandoned the idea on many occasions because I was never really able to pinpoint what the hell the thing was actually supposed to be about. But thanks to a very inspiring yet eye-poppingly expensive overseas holiday, as well as unemployment, my creative tank had been filled and I was now able to muster the energy and patience to finish the first draft. Yay for me. The play is called Tot einde. It's a tragic comedy for 2 males and 1 female, and it has a running time of approximately 60 minutes. Now, on the surface, the 2 main characters, Sebastian and Olivia, appear to be a functioning couple, but they are in fact not in an exclusive relationship. He wants her to himself, while she's keen on keeping her options open. Well, that's what she says. Still believing he can sweep her off her feet, Sebastian invites Olivia to a restaurant to win her heart, but when he does not get the desired reaction, the evening repeats itself. However, they are not alone. Lurking around the corner is their empathetic waiter, Javi, who they find out is an aspiring jazz singer, but also tone deaf. So throughout the course of the evening, Javi becomes someone who Sebastian can confide in and ultimately proves to be an unlikely friend. I suppose the play could seem like a dramatized debate between monogamy and polyamory, but I don't think it is. I believe it's a play about denial. All 3 characters must face an uncomfortable truth, and they need each other to gain the necessary insight in order to confront that truth. What you think you want is often not the thing that you really need. Enjoy.
Dit dan tot einde deur Ludwig Beeslaar onder leiding van de Klerk Oelofse.
Scusi? Scusi?
Ja, iemand die zo.
Scusi? Scusi?
Wat rekent jij?
Scusi?
Dat is zo weer.
Scusi?
Wat nou? Dat is meneer Muscusi zegt.
Scusi?
Oh, foei toch. Ga meneer Muscusi huilen. Oh, zuster. Huil ik jou, heb ik in Italiaans. Om mij te laten lachen.
Je hebt geen idee.
So is hij weg?
Pas soos altyd. Ek gee kliphard klas terwyl my studente kliphard kip.
Sukkel om dit te wees aan so passievol wil wees.
Hulle is ewe passievol oor booze en seks.
Het daai meisie weer aan lak gedraai.
Maar ja, nee.
Ek dink dit is goed dat jy grense instel het. Ek dink steeds kan nog eens gevaarlik raak.
Sy is 21, dit was 'n soort van soen by 'n awkward departement together waar almal te veel gedrink het. Sy het nie mooi deurgedink nie.
Toch sê sy is jou skerpste student nie waar nie?
Wat kan ek sê? Die malletjies is gewoonlik die talent vir my was.
altyd so gedink, maar ek weet nie eintlik meer nie.
Is dit?
Klaus?
Oei, die Duitse ou by die werk.
Ja, hy is een van my campaign managers onder wie ek werk.
By die karre.
Ja, hy is soos 'n walking stereotype. Sokkies met sandale, broek is moerhoog opgetrek, hemp ingesteek, hy frons permanent en hy ken een grapie en dit is sieldodend droog.
Klink nou Duitse daai.
Ja, maar hy's geniaal. So sy idees trump almal anders en elke keer konsekwent soos 'n masjien.
Klink nog steeds maar Duitse.
En al lyk hy in 'n kantoor vol cool cats soos my pa wat op pad is Wildtuin toe. Hy bly gemaklik in sy eie vel.
Dis ek sal die ouens ontmoet.
Ja,
Pointer.
inspireer ook jou studente.
Nie soveel soos die booze die seks.
Oh, my is in geval is dit 50-50. Sorry, was dit ver?
Ja, dat bedoel.
Hey! Wat kry ek vir julle?
Glas huisrooi vir my asseblief.
Enkel whisky en soda.
Cool en die cool. Ek moet julle net waarsku, die kombuis maak amper toe.
Ja, ek dink nie ons gaan
Net drankies.
Ja, in de hoek. En ja, in de hoek.
Backstory?
Noorde. Plaas.
Oets.
Ja, hy moes die aksent afleer om met die Kaapse snaaks omgeterg het.
Sy, hoekom boer hy nie?
Pa het hom afgeskryf oor sy seksualiteit. Ek dink dit is vir die beste. Ek dink die gays hier in glaskop is omkring.
Dis nou kraak hom jammer.
Nee, toe maar, hy is verlief. Ja, op Henny. En Henny op hom.
Sy kerel.
Henny die hip graphic designer wat hy's in hospice klere en hy drink cortados, maar hy werk glad nie, hy's 'n lifehawk.
Hoe bly hulle in die lewe?
Henny se pa. Ja, ou geld, so Stellenbosch maffia miljoene.
Sessie.
En hy's besmet met die skuldgevoelens, maar dit is 'n geheim tussen hom en Henny en hy gaan dit tot die graf toe.
Dis baie traumaties.
Okay, jy weet?
Ek sal nou, ek wil het jou chapter read.
Ja.
So, ek is verlief op jou. Dis al waar ek dink. En as ek om jou is, dan voel dit as ek vlieg. Ek wil jy met myne wees. Net myne. Sê iets?
Hoe is ek veronderstel om te reageer op so iets?
So dat jy voel?
Ek voel jy wil iets baie spesifiek hoor.
Kyk, ek weet jy sukkel met die idee van 'n sielsgenoot, geliefde, beminde.
Dan braak ek bietjie in my mond.
Dis nie so erg.
Nee, dit is jou verbeelding wat so iets opdis. Dis nie 'n ander persoon nie. Verlief, dit is 'n ideaal en ek weet want ek skryf die advertensies wat dit aan die massas verkoop. En ons maak miljoene.
Dan braak ek bietjie in my mond.
Jy moet nie my werk demonize net omdat jy nie hoor wat jy wil nie. Ek was van die begin af transparent. Ek het vir jou gesê waar jy met my staan.
Omstandighede verander, gevoelens ook.
Die myne nie.
Kom nou.
Nee, ek kan nie dit doen nie.
Wat?
Ek dink nie ons moet mekaar meer sien.
Wow.
Nee, om die waarheid te sê, dink ek dit nou al vir 'n ruk.
Okay, jy reageer
En
nou.
dis nie dat jy is 'n ongelooflike mens.
Kom ons rewind net gaan unpack hier.
Dis te laat. Daar's te veel gesê. Ons het deur 'n barrier gebreek en dit is 'n baie duidelike teken dat ons moet stop.
Die song.
Ja, okay, maar jy luister nie na my.
Jy hardloop weg.
Nee, ek's klaar.
Olivia, wag net gou.
Ek's jammer, maar dit is verby. Ek dink regtig dis vir die beste vir albei van ons. En as jy dood eerlik is en mooi dink oor ons tyd saam, sal jy besef dat hierdie ding altyd tot 'n einde sou kom. is nie reg verwonder nie.
Ek weet.
Hè?
Ek gaan hier nou bly, wat is hierdie?
Wat?
Jy was op partij.
Was ek? Is dit voor jou?
Nee, maar nie dit doen nie.
Wat?
Jy gaslight my.
Oei, gaslight?
Ek sê actually wat ek voel. Ander mans kry fucking medalje as hulle gevoelens deel, maar my hart word uitgeruk en soos 'n pap sokkerbal rondgeskop.
Oh. Dis hier 'n karakter wat hy is bietjie creepy.
Is jy mal?
Ek sê nie een wat bal soos 'n beseerde.
Sien, hoe doen jy dit weer?
Gaan jy my regtig nie op hierdie trein toe laat?
Jy weet presies waarvan ek praat.
Ek het letterlik nie. Wat? Dan gaan jy alweer vols doen.
Ek sê op.
Ai! Wat kry ek vir julle?
Stywe dop.
Nie vir my nie, dankie. Ek is actually op.
Okay, wag net. Ons dalk net oor dit asseblief.
Cool en die boel. Ek moet julle ook nie waarsku toe kom bys maar toe.
Geen kos, bourbon, nie dubbel nou vanaf.
In de hoek. En ja, in de hoek.
Ja man.
Ek sal nie duld dat 'n man so met my praat.
Ek's jammer.
Ek sal actually duld dat enige iemand so met my praat.
Ek is deelmekaar. Ek kan sweer ek het vir jou gesê of ek het vir jou 'n moeilike ding gesê en toe wil jy net vlug.
Wat?
Moenie my dit laat herhaal nie. Dis wreed. Dis moeë wreed om iemand so iets te laat herhaal.
Ek weet nie wat anders om te vra nie.
Ek het gepraat oor ons, oor my en jou en waarna toe hierdie op pad is, want ek is nou moeg rondgeneek.
Ek voel nie ons neuk rond nie. Ons is twee groot mense met 'n verstandhouding. Jy het nog altyd geweet waar jy met my staan. Ek het dit aan die begin vir jou gesê.
Maar wat jy sê en wat jy doen is twee verskillende goed.
Sê wie? Jy
maak vir jouself hierdie reëls en dan weerspreek jou gedragte. Natuurlik gaan ek my eie afleidings maak.
Ja, dit is waar die probleem is.
So verduidelik dan vir my, hè? Praat, want ek verstaan fokol.
Okay, dis hier waar ek kyk.
Maar ek het net gevas.
Nee, ek kan nie hierdie doen nie.
Wag net.
Ek dink nie ons moet mekaar los.
Ek glo jou nie.
Ek voel eintlik al vir 'n ruk so, want dit is duidelik dat ons op pad is na verskillende plekke.
Nee, jy's bang.
Ek is jammer, Sebastian, maar dit is verby. Kyk, ek dink regtig dit is vir die beste vir albei van ons. As jy doodeerlik is en mooi dink oor ons tyd saam, sal jy besef dat hierdie ding altyd tot 'n einde sal kom.
Ek weer weggeraak. Sorry, jy was besig om te sê
ek gaan nie eet nie. Ek het groot geland saam met 'n kollega.
Okay, dis fyn. Ons is nie lank te bly nie. Maar ek dink ons moet dan iets bestel.
Goeie punt.
Hey! Wat kry ek vir julle?
Bourbon, dubbel, niet.
Dit was tot 'n einde, geskryf deur Lwanda Sindaphi met Ilse-Lee van die Klerk en Wessel Pretorius, regie deur Klerk Oelofse.
Hier is het.
Dat is my band.
Ek het dit probeer.
Ludwig, jy het ons 'n baie mooi inleiding gegee en gesê dat dit is eintlik 'n toneelstuk oor die Nile. Maar wat vir my baie prominent is dat dit pretty much is hoe mense deesdae voel as gevolg van wat alles gebeur in die datingwêreld, want everything goes en mens praat meestal met mense wat jy dink in jou eie kop, nee, want jy maak afleidings as gevolg van sosiale media en so aan. Ek bedoel, dit gaan oor vibing, oor ghosting, oor gaslighting en dit lewer vir my nogal kommentaar daarop.
Dit doen, maar dan moet ek ook net by sê, en dit kom dalk nie in hierdie uittreksel, dit was baie moeilik om 'n spesifieke uittreksel te kies. Daar was baie juicier bits en snaakser dele, maar ek het 'n klein gevoel is dalk beter om net die koppel mooi op te set en die konvensie van die time loop te set. So, wat ek gaan sê, maar gaan ek nie sê wat nie, maar hulle albei jok oor iets.
Okay.
Hy jok vir haar sy vorm, but you only find that out towards the end.
So, en dan as jy dan sê die Nile of York, wat is soort van die meer universele thema dan? Dit obviously ek het al myself gemaak en gepraat oor dating.
Nee, dis al daar, dis in denial wees oor wat eintlik goed is vir jou en wat jy eintlik wil hê. En in die Waiter se geval is dit denial van hy kan nie sing nie. Maar hy cling on to it for dear life.
Ek kan nie sing nie.
Hy kan nie sing nie, nee. Ja.
Ek het nogal gedink wat interessant is in hierdie uittreksel nou, is basies dat die Waiter en sy kerel is die huis verbied en so aan. So daar's vir hulle keuses gemaak en daarom is hulle dalk 'n gelukkige koppel. Waar uit die uittreksel vind ek ook dat jy kommentaar lewer op al die keuses wat ons het, wat waarskynlik die Nile ook insluit en wat die lewe so klein bietjie meer kompliseer.
Ja, die lekker ding van kyk, die time loop is glad nie lief nie, dit is al 100 keer gedoen, maar die lekker ding daarvan is met die herhaling, jy empower jou gehoor, want hulle weet met elke keer wat kom, so hulle voel dat hulle is 'n stapie voor die karakters, behalwe nou die protagonist. Jy empower ook jou protagonist tot 'n mate, want hy gaan, shit, dit is slightly anders doen, dan kan jy nog goed uitwerk vir my, so I'll keep trying.
En in de hoek, in die hak, dis 'n baie oulike hakplek hier, maar wat dit beteken obviously ook iets.
Nee, dit doen nie. Dit is completely random, maar ek het gedink aan die simpelste dad jokerigste ding wat ek aan kon dink in die oomblik.
Rarig?
Ja.
Jy sê, ek het uiteraard wel heeltemal verkeerd verstaan. Ek wil net vir jou sê dat het my ongelooflik lekker is om met jou gesels. Nee, ek het gedink in de hoek, in die hak, is obviously vir my cool in hierdie uittreksel, maar dit ding is van hookups en goeders wat net helemaal skeef.
Right, as jy dit daarin lees, fantastic. Want ek lucky.
Ja, en dan ook in de hoek, jy stak, totally, of dit nou die Nile is of nie.
Ja, absoluut. Ek moes eintlik nou gejok het en gesê dat dit daai betekenis dit was geplan. Maar nee, dit was
Ons op het is daar enige iemand wat vir Ludwig praat en gehoor? Of kommentaar? Maar dan in terme van die rest van die toneelstuk, wil jy net vir ons 'n idee gee van hoe dit dan ontvou, aangezien dit dan...
Nee, ek gaan nie. Dit is belangrik om 'n mate van mystery daarom te hou. Dit die loop hou op, maar omdat die karakter tot 'n insig kom. En soos ek gesê het, hulle albei steek vir mekaar iets weg. Dis crucial tot hoe kom dit op 'n loop. Maar ek wil nie sê nie, want almal wat hier sit is die mense wat dit moet kom kyk. Ek gaan nie nou my plot weg.
Ja, maar dis 100%. Ek het maar net gedink, omdat ek nie uitlees kon lees. Ek het maar net rarig gedink, contemporary-wise is dit al klaar vir my wonderlik. En ek het dit heeltemal misplaas as 'n soort van 'n slice of life. En al wat ek maar net probeer agterkom is dit daar se helfte.
Dit kan dit wees. Dit is absoluut oop vir daai interpretasie. Dit kan 'n slice of life wees, dit kan 'n nagmerrie wees. Jy kan dit absoluut conceptualize as iemand se nagmerrie.
Okay.
Of jy kan, ja.
As ek kan inkom, met kommentaar. Ek dink die teks is baie, die uittreksel wat jy gestuur het, is baie vars en sterk en daar's iets baie fyn daaraan. En dis regtig lieflik. Ek dink jy moet tog, want dit is die plek waar jy bietjie moed weggee. So jy gaan 'n bietjie meer moed gee, want vir mense om bietjie meer te verstaan. Want anders gaan jy jouself nou skade doen. So ek wil jou aanmoedig om soveel as moontlik dit te sê.
Ek voel asof julle nuuskierigheid satisfy, maar sure, ek sal dit doen.
Natuurlijk.
In die hoek.
So, sy is nie regtig op soek na multiple partners nie.
Okay.
Dis 'n manier om te stol en vir haarself tyd te koop. Daar was 'n amper soen met sy student, maar hy slaap met haar. En hy confessed dit.
Fabulous. Dankie, Ludwig. Nee, maar ja, ek dink regtig
En hy sê vir die kom ons alles reg. Hy sê vir die waiter, dude, jy kan nie sing nie en jy sal nooit kan sing nie. So hy shatter die waiter se droom. En al sy eie hurt en frustrasie op die waiter uit. Maar nou kan die waiter aangaan met sy lewe en hy besef ek moet nie vaslaan in hierdie tall tale van 'n droom nie.
En hy moet ook nie te gaan graskop doen nie.
Ja, ek dink my kop bly hy in die kaart, ek gaan baie met terug graskop doen.
Maar baie dankie daarvoor. Nee, maar ek is baie ernstig as ek sê dat ek hou van die kommentaar wat jy lewer dan op multiple partners en daai soort van goed. En hoe onsinnig en hoe die wêreld geword het omdat daar so baie keuses is. En net dit wat uit hierdie uittreksel uitkom is al klaar great. En om dan nog 'n plot intrige te gee is fantasties. Baie dankie.
Dankie.
Goed, ons gaan aan. Sonder om 'n breek te vat, daar sou een wees, so ek net gaan met dis aan hy check. Volgende af is Punchlines. Brent Palmer, do you want to come to the front and give an intro? Hi.
Should I say it? Okay. Hi everybody. Thank you so much to the organisers, to Karkai Kar, to Nati, to the Baxter for hosting the showcase of Punchlines. I feel like there's a gap between what I'd ideally like to say about Punchlines and what I'm eventually going to say to you about Punchlines. And it's probably going to be very organic and rough, and hopefully at the end of the 10 minutes I'll be able to clarify any questions that you have about the text. But I will start and say that I wrote this about I think 2 years ago already. I think I was doing a production of The Fugard, and I had this dream that I wanted to write something funny. I wanted to write something South African, and I just wanted to exercise something and just to get the comedy on the page. I wanted to be Neil Simon and just put comedy onto the page. And because I'd worked in the stand-up comedy world for a long time and I was very familiar with that community, I thought that I would write a play about 5 stand-up comedians backstage in the green room of a stand-up comedy club. Because that space was always pregnant with banter and conflict and the camaraderie of the stand-up comedians. I was always interested in the personalities the comedy personae that could show up on the comedy stage, and then meeting those same cats backstage. And the funny guy would often not be as funny, or the really hilarious comedian was often quite retreating and slightly cynical, and I chose 5 characters for the piece, and I chose a slightly cynical character, and then there's the older character there was constantly banter, constantly a joke, and that character represented that old guard of the stand-up comedy community. And then I wanted to juxtapose that with this really young, socio-politically conscious comedian who comes in, the young, hungry comedian, but who has a very different voice to another comedic voice that represents a different era. And I mean, I could go on through the 5 characters, but perhaps you can see it, and then you can engage with me after that, once that's done. And then I think some of the themes I wanted to pick up on was the themes of, really, you mentioned earlier, that also idea of us being very politically correct in what can we say and what can we not say. And I think the green room of the stand-up comedy space gave us an inkling into that. So there are many comedians that would say things in that space that would never do comedy about. And I was intrigued by that. I was also intrigued by the theme of relevance. I think just recently, over the last 5 years, because of this proliferation of social media and comedians being able to put their content online on TikTok. Like, where did that leave our stand-up comedians? Like, do they feel threatened by this sort of idea, or were they going to embrace it and integrate that into their own art form? Yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say for now, and I hope you enjoyed. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. And the directing was done by Adrian Collins. Punchlines.
What do they pay you for corporate gigs nowadays?
Let me see, about 3 of them have me on retainer, 2 of them pay me in dollars as a tax write-off, and about 10 others hit me up with swag. What kind of information do you need?
No, don't talk to me.
What'd I say?
How to sell your soul 1 gig at a time.
Hey Spoo, it's really awesome to meet you. I just want to say I really admire your work.
Hey, you told me that.
Well, she's lying to one of you.
Are you following me yet?
I think so.
You'd know if you were. So you've won the competition. I mean, I was meant to be one of the judges on that panel.
Comedy competitions are like award shows. They mean fuck all.
That's a slap in the face.
But I was out the country.
And they let you back in.
I just got back from Singapore, Mumbai, and New York.
Yeah, sounds tiring. Can you imagine the jet lag?
3 episodes filmed in under 2 weeks.
All those exotic locations.
All that cuck TV.
I think your show's cool.
Oh, of course you do.
You ever been to India, Mr. M?
India? No thanks. When I get out here, I prefer to be close to home.
It's a fucking madhouse. The whole country. Picture Canal Walk and it's Black Friday.
Oh, there you go. You fit right in.
I don't think Indians saw black people in their lives before.
And then you went and ruined it for them.
All of them wanted to touch me, pointing at me. Mr. Blackie, how big a cock? How big a cock?
That is so shameful.
Yeah, pointing is rude.
Most Indians are racist.
No, well, that's a sweeping statement. India is a vast, diverse country.
Ask any Indian and they'll tell you, sweetie pie.
Yeah, at half the price.
Gandhi. Vegan, peace-loving, and racist as fuck.
Fuck off!
Oh, yes, vegan through and through. Oh. What's going on here? I specifically told management no strippers on opening night.
Oh, management can suck my stripper balls. You want to suck my stripper balls?
Well, do you think you could have found anything tighter than that?
No, this was the baggiest I could find.
Well, you didn't get dressed, you got cling wrapped. How does the blood get to your brain?
I limit my brain capacity to match the average of this room.
That's good.
That's it. You're writing in my little comedy book.
Anyway, how are you, you gorgeous thing?
That's better. Getting through this crowd was crazy. It was like, they won't leave you alone, crying, Val, Val. Oh, the rudeness.
But you time it so that you can run into them.
I'm offended that you would say that. Why would you say that?
You told me that.
I like a bit of attention, so should me. Hello, my darling. Nice to see you again. And just by the way, I voted for you. We have a could-have-been doctor in the house, gentlemen.
Yeah, Dr. Comedy flunked out. She got the golden ticket, but she threw it away.
Could you have been kinder for 10 seconds?
I could have been a doctor.
Yeah, but you didn't have the maths and science.
Oh, do you need that?
Fuck science. Science must fall.
I'm sorry I had to put up with the 3 of them. I could have gotten here much sooner, but this bitch just cuts me off in traffic. I got so enraged with her, I nearly rear-ended her off the highway. But I didn't, because I just finished my yoga and meditation, and deep inner tranquility doesn't come cheap.
Yeah, well,
so I wasn't going to let the teeth ruin it for me.
Sounds like money well spent.
How are you feeling, Erin?
I really hope I don't forget any of this material.
My darling, you've come out tops.
You've done your time on the club scene, haven't you? Go out there tonight. Do your thing. If it's great, then it's great. If they don't like it, then...
Yeah, then just go back to school.
It's their problem, so screw them.
Yeah, although don't screw all of them. Otherwise you get a bad reputation.
I've never had meaningless sex with any of my clients.
Yeah, well, you had a special connection with all of them.
Look, I'm not Mother Teresa.
Just get famous. After that, the funny comes naturally.
Or just do some fucking stand-up comedy.
No, ask me, Erin. It's the toughest job in the world if you're a girl.
It's a tough job for anybody.
It's a piece of cake, man. Once you get past the self-loathing, rejection, and the substance addiction, it's all plain sailing from there.
Don't listen to them. I'm doing this forever.
Yeah, well, she's talking rubbish as well. Val's actually only 20. His stand-up comedy's been harder, man.
Men see a sexy woman up there, the last thing they want to do is laugh.
Sorry, can you say that again? I wasn't concentrating.
My point exactly.
Well, we can't find you funny and sexy at the same time. It's physically impossible.
I rest my case. This is why you have to work hard. It's you up against them.
No, you up against too many of them.
Okay, guys, I'm almost done with the lineup, right?
I just want to say it's such a great honor to be working alongside all of you tonight.
Thank you for that personal compliment. Very polite of you to include the rest of them as well.
I know what you mean. Yesterday, you saw me on TV. Today, I'm on the same lineup as you.
Okay, let's get this shit started.
Come on, John, look on the bright side. You're doing what you love to do. You'll be going out there and offending possibly hundreds of people tonight.
Oh, I feel better already.
You see what an inspiration I am.
Okay, guys, listen up.
The lineup. Oh my god, I need a pee.
Okay, so Val's up first.
Well, somebody needs to go first.
Cannon fodder.
It's all downhill from there.
Then it's our guest slot.
Yes!
So the audience can have a little break from the comedy until the next comedian comes on.
How much time do I get?
12 to 15.
Shut up! That audience has got me for 20 minutes.
Hey, you got a problem with the numbers or you're hearing? 15 minutes.
Yeah, he'll be dancing for 10 minutes of that.
Okay, then we have a 15-minute break before we bring on an opening mic act. That's you, my darling.
Just breathe.
Okay, we give you 5 to 7 minutes, no longer. If you take longer, we crank up the music.
Yes, and then you do the walk of shame to Taylor Swift.
We tell you a swift exit.
I'll screw wordplay and everything.
Yeah, or he comes back onto stage and starts dancing again, and who wants that?
The whole auditorium, evidently.
Listen, I've only got 5 minutes of comedy material. I can't even go any longer.
Sprue doesn't have any, it doesn't stop him.
I'll say it again. Keep your set to 15.
18 minutes tops.
And Brother John? 30 to 35?
I'll do 30. They don't pay me enough for 35.
I'll take his 5 minutes.
Do I murder Sprue now or later? Okay, let me just do this quickly. Use the mic.
Wait for it, wait for it.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the first night of the Kings and Queens Comedy Festival. Do what you gotta do. Get it up and take a comfort break.
Take a cup!
Because we are going to be switching on the laughter in 2 minutes. I repeat, 2 minutes.
You go, Basil.
Hey, just relax, man. Just give them what they want, darling.
What is this, a convenience store?
Tell them anything, just make sure it's got a punchline.
Rubbish. I don't have punchlines and they laugh.
That's because they're scared of you, dickhead.
Oh my word, I'm so nervous. I can't even explain why. I think it's because I'm performing in a big theatre.
Yeah, well, just because it's bigger doesn't mean it's better.
Says who?
Don't be nervous. What's the worst that can happen?
I haven't played many venues like this. I mean, this is a real theatre audience. I'd hate to offend anyone on my first main stage gig.
Offend anyone? That's part of the job description, my dear.
With all due respect, John, not for me.
What is wrong with this chick?
Chick!
It must mean he likes you.
Come now, you two.
I'm sorry, something's wrong with me because I choose to practice some level of social consciousness on stage.
Social consciousness, eh? This fucking chick. Can anybody remind me of the name of this fucking NGO that we all work for here?
Sisters of Hope.
Okay, everyone, listen up. It's a little something that has come up.
Basil, that's personal. We don't need to know that sort of thing.
I'm not doing autographs. Takes up too much time.
Okay, can I finish, guys? It seems Mr. Teddy Moses might be stopping by tonight.
What? What do you mean?
Like I said, Teddy Moses is here. He's watching.
Don't talk shit, actually.
Terry Moses. Yeah, tonight.
In person?
Now he's conference calling. Yes, people! Actually here, in person, tonight.
Basil, what is this?
What?
What the fuck is Terry Moses doing here?
Oh, excuse me, don't shoot the messenger. We can all just calm down, please. Eddie tells me he may pop in tonight. He's going to hang back. Where would he? But he wants to catch a bit of the show.
Yeah, but what if he wants to jump on?
No, nobody said anything.
Over my dead fucking body, he jumps onto that stage.
He's not going to do anything of that sort, man.
For one thing, they don't pay him enough.
He's one of the top 5 wealthiest comedians now.
How is that relevant? Who wants to hear this? How the fuck is that relevant?
Listen, everybody. You got your material. Just do your material. That shouldn't change anything.
This night is getting better and better.
I thought I was feeling pressure earlier. Now I'm having an out-of-body experience.
It's no big deal. When I was in New York, I went to go see him.
Oh, you've been to New York City. Oh, are there big, tall buildings, are they? Oh,
no. But there used to be. Too soon?
Basil, what is he doing here? Why is he here?
Look, Jim, man, the man is here. I don't know what his plans are. Why don't you ask him?
I heard from the grapevine that he's got big plans.
Exactly. I mean, of course, this is his job now. He's the wunderkind of South African comedy. He's got a fabulous talk show in America. He's got to showcase South African talent to the world.
Oh, that's bullshit. So now he's going to poach local talent for a new show.
He can poach me, boss. I'm in his sights.
Yeah, prove he's still relevant in Africa.
And he's
fucking opportunity.
He's come to visit, guys. He's not going to close. We're not going to close the door.
It stinks, Basil.
No need to get personal, John.
Actually, come to think of it, I've been to New York twice this year.
Yeah, nobody gives a fucking shit.
I think I've already forgotten all my material.
I'm applying for a green card now.
America's in for a real treat.
Why don't we do some comedy, eh?
It's not always happy-go-lucky like this, by the way.
Sometimes there's a lot of tension and conflict.
I just need to remind myself that I'm grateful to share the space with funny people who have laughter to share.
You should introduce us to these people sometime.
Okay, guys, silly time.
Yeah, a bunch of fucking sycophants, a lot of you.
Thinking, my dear, you want to pop a zaddy?
I don't get nervous or palpitations when I do comedy.
Of course you don't.
Because you don't do comedy.
Hey, listen here, bro. Just be straight with me, once and for all. Do you have a problem with me?
Yes, I do.
Thank you.
Yes. Just when I thought it was getting interesting.
I wish I didn't have these nerves.
Be worried when you don't.
I don't know how to get rid of it. What do the rest of you do?
Sex.
They told me years ago I must breathe deeply, so I started smoking a lot of Zobo. Now I don't get nervous.
Because you forget to.
Okay, people, I'm up first. Let the games begin.
Okay. Basil, do you mind?
Good evening, you lucky audience, and welcome to tonight's kickoff of the Kings and Queens Comedy Festival. Are you ready? I said, are you ready? Well, go mad, go crazy, as you welcome onto the stage your favorite raconteur, the legend, the one and only Mr. Basil Why do you force me to tell lies about you, Basil?
You could have put more effort into that, eh? Okay, I'll do 15 minutes, and to keep it nice and warm for you.
You like a cuddly comedy blanket, Basil. You come back now, you hear?
Wow.
Brian, Kate Pinchuk, Marty Kintu, and Pierre Malherbe. Thank you. You can come back, Brent Palmer.
Thank you. Should I help you, Marty?
No, some guys are going to come. You take it to stage. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Stand up.
We're going to do stand up, yeah.
Brent, so you mentioned in the beginning that obviously you are commenting on wokeness, etc., and redundancy, but what I found extremely refreshing was the fact that all the stereotypes in the room are real.
Yeah.
Terribly real.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I suppose there is that element of stereotype in it, and yeah, I mean, I don't know how to...
Well, you work with Nick Rubinovitz.
I do, yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, you work in this realm quite a bit. And I mean, do you also think it is time with regards to not being as sensitive and what your play is actually speaking to, that we also now have the ability to really go all out with the stereotypes, you know? This sort of the black guy, Sabu, on social media, who's all about selfies and and the white guy who's scared of redundancy and bitter, and he says he's tired of sycophants. I mean, I hear that often.
Yes. I mean, I think that in some ways, I feel like maybe, I mean, I wrote this a while ago, and even when I watch it now, I go, well, maybe there can be some nuance in some of these, in how you've sort of cliched these characters up a bit. And I suppose there's a problem with the style, because you want to create something comedic, or you want to create some element of, I don't know, you want to create some element of comedy, so it sort of goes into that territory that becomes slightly problematic, and hopefully you can balance it out with the different characters, because Kate's character's got quite a specific voice, so she challenges all of the stereotypes, this idea of stereotype. But hopefully through that there's a thread, sort of a strong enough thread, you know, that the conflict can actually bring these stereotypes some additional element to them, I hope.
The play, I don't want to give the plot away, but it's a feel-good, so it kind of ends, or maybe I shouldn't say that. There is camaraderie underneath all of this. Yeah. And that's, you know, that's the typical South African theme.
Yeah. I'm alienating some of you there with me. Yeah, absolutely, yeah. There is that camaraderie, the funny people, you know, they've got a lot sort of underneath the surface. There's a lot there, you know. I suppose it's their resource for the comedy that they make. One of the elements I brought into this, which I perhaps should have mentioned earlier, was the fact that there's this character of Terry Moses that comes in, and it was sort of referencing the Trevor Noah character, who was hugely inspiring and also disruptive to the stand-up comedy community, because, you know, when Trevor sort of achieved these stratospheric levels of success in America, like, it's so interesting to just listen to different comedians take on that individual's rise to stardom. And I really wanted to play with that, so I sort of used this conceit of this Terry. He's just stopping in for the night, and what might that do to the comedians, you know, if he's in the audience and he's got big plans to do some big show, some showcasing of comedians. Might there be some element of competition among them, or might there be some resentment that sort of comes up from that? I was quite excited by that idea.
Because they also comment on the fact that he's only, you know, he's got ex-presidential jokes, which I also found at the time. People were commenting on the fact that Trevor Noah, you know, he got Trump on a silver plate. And then it makes you think what is left for South Africans, you know, we have the complicated stuff. So in a sense, it's not just the fear of redundancy. I think it's legit geïrriteerd with these guys abroad, because, you know, it's difficult for us, it's complicated, it's harder.
Are you saying that the landscape, our political landscape is a more complex one than the States? Yeah, I mean, absolutely. But then I suppose So we've got a tougher job then in some ways. We've got more to negotiate. Our comedians have to negotiate a slightly trickier road. That is perhaps your suggestion. The truth is, I don't really know that distinction too much. Sort of American politics, Democrats, Republicans, and what that means for us in our country. But I know that old Trevor made it work for him. He certainly, his track that he chose, he made that work for him, and I think that sort of provided this wonderful sort of platform for people to witness this incredibly sort of quick rise, and then how do you make sense of that?
Just to let the audience know, there's no trigger bashing in the show. It ends also very healthy.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think that it was interesting for me, it was important, not interesting, but important to not do that. I mean, because he's an incredibly wonderful and talented and beautiful man. But I think that it's almost not about him.
No.
It's about the nature of success, and it's what he represents, or perhaps what he symbolizes, and all of our projections onto him. And that's what I think it is more.
With regards to style, and then I'll open up to the audience, the play is basically one punchline after each other, and it is because, and I'm sure you get that in green rooms with stand-up comedians, they're always on and always funny and always bashing each other as well, and it's part of their style. So with regards to directing style, it's going to be interesting, and time-wise.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, I think that there's the it's important what you're saying, because there is that sort of the banter and the to and fro and that sort of dynamic of the comedy that comes through, and part of the very sobering feedback I've received from colleagues is, Brent, sometimes you chase the joke so slavishly that you forget the through line, you forget what this character's actually doing within the scene. So I'm actually quite well aware of that. Even watching it now, I sort of feel, it's interesting. It's an interesting problem that you have when you're writing a play to not have the gag mess with the through line of the play. Because I'd like to think that I could construct some sort of thread through this 3-act structure, well-made play, well-ish made play type structure. I'd like to with some element of realism. I don't know what the director might do, but to really sort of show us the green room, like the real place, the grubby, the posters on the wall, the carpet, the cigarette butts maybe, that sort of the grainy feel of it. Yeah.
Comments from the audience or questions?
Thank you very much, that's been good.
I'm sure there's a question or two. Marina, sorry.
Hi, I just want to say, Brent, that I'm a huge fan of your writing for many years now, and you probably heard me giggling all along. What I found interesting was the fact that I'm used to you writing for like two-handers, and I'm thinking of A Steady Rain, which was like phenomenal, and now suddenly you have 5 characters, and quite complicated ones at that. So how does that feel, or how do you work around that?
I mean, I found it quite, there were challenges, I suppose, writing the 5 characters, but I also found there was like an ease in having the 5 actors take the load of the narrative. So with the two-hander sometimes, it's very kind of you that you would ascribe A Steady Rain to me, but that's Keith Huff, an American playwright, and Nick Pauling and I were just the actors in that. So that's a beautiful piece of writing, this I found it almost became a sort of a piece of excitement, writing the 5 characters and feeling the sort of, so who are you and what is your place? And then once I got that sort of dynamic going, I could sort of feel them sort of bouncing, and then you talk, and then you talk, and then you be silent. And then I do another sweep of the scene, and I said, okay, so is this Erin character, she's speaking, what might she say within that? So it became this feeling. One of the other playwrights earlier, you may still be, was speaking about an intuitive sense you have. I love that. Just like it will arrive, that feeling. So that's, I had moments of that, yeah.
Cornelia?
I think I have a wonderful concept. And I'm very excited about this. I think one of the strongest plot points you have is this almost waiting for Godot, like waiting for Trevor. And I would almost suggest that you name him Trevor Noah. And that these comedians are so in conflict with themselves about this because they want to impress him, but they also, they want to be woke about Trevor Noah is not cool. And so you almost build on that narrative. That they're not all talking about him from the start, but then as they come in, they all have the same sense, we're waiting for Trevor. And is he coming, is he not coming? And then how do they respond to that? And in the end, the young female comedians, it's just like, who cares about Trevor Noah? He's not part of our scene anymore. So I think you have a magical concept, and I'd like to see where you go with this.
Thank you so much for that, for that affirmation. I really appreciate that. Thank you. What's your name?
Cornelia.
Cornelia. So Cornelia. So the great irony of it and of the ending is that she is in fact the one that cares least about him. She sort of sees him in great perspective. She's able to sort of understand his place and understand herself in relation to him. But at the end, she's the one who sort of gets the sort of the golden gift from the man, So it's almost this idea that once you sort of let go of any sort of attachment, to this sort of attachment to sort of where I should be or what I should do, but just to enjoy and to be present to what is in the moment. And that's actually the ingredient that you need to just be yourself, this authenticity that you need, which is in fact some ingredients for great comedy is to just be yourself. And then you mentioned something else around the name Trevor. I've done a reading of this before, and it was incredible the amount of feedback I got around the name. Like there was almost like a 10-minute discussion around the name. It's like, you shouldn't name him Trevor. Why don't you? Because then somebody said, his name shouldn't be Trevor. It shouldn't be, I think I had somebody like, the surname should be Moses. It should be like something biblical, but it should be Moses, and then the actors were like, no, it's not Trevor, it's Terry Moses. That's what it is. It's cryptic enough, but they'll know who we're talking about. But that's an interesting idea to actually have it be Trevor.
And then just to add to that, the other irony is that you say she's her authentic self, and that's why she gets the golden ticket. But then she's also the young one that gets accused for being curated and not authentic, etc. So I also found that quite intricate. I didn't know you were going to give the ending away, so now I'm also giving it. But we have to move on. I don't think you won't be offended at all. Thank you for that.
I just want to say that Trevor sends his regards, but he's got a sold-out show at Grand West.
Okay, yeah. I just wanted to say something. I've been backstage with stand-up comedians only once, and if I tell you the configuration of who I've been backstage with, you will understand my affinity for this concept, because there was Mel Miller, there was John Lismus, there was Koki Falco, there was, and this configuration, looks like David Cow, so the configuration is a lot the same, and I think, just to be fair and honest, is that I think I might have been influenced by that when I read the play, because it's like I was so amazed that you captured it so well. But when my imagination and experience of it fed that as well. But when I saw it now, I I thought there was something missing because my imagination filled in the blanks when I read it, but as an audience member, I missed something. I missed that the presence of the show happening backstage. I know this is just representative, it's not how the thing's going to look. Straight lines on the stage, they creep me out, so I was a little bit, I was scribbling about it. What I missed was, even though I know they lay back behind the scenes, they're not on the way they on stage, they're on in a different way backstage, but I think for this exercise, because we never see the actual show on stage happening, there needs to be, every character needs to have a little idiosyncrasy that's visible, almost blatant, so that I think at the end of the day, they all took on each other's energies, voices, rhythms, and I couldn't see the distinction very well, except for the fact that they visually represent differently.
You know, I hear what you're saying, and it's sobering and wonderful and a gift what you're saying. But I'd like to think that when we get this play onto its feet, that that moment will take place when it becomes not a reading and it goes.
Yes, no, absolutely. I take that into account.
That's a beautiful foundation. When something suddenly begins to happen, there's time, and there's resource, and there's space to play, and that will be something completely different. And the comedy will rise because comedy is all about timing and listening. And once that happens, I think we'll get the fuel that vehicle needs.
No, I just wanted to leave it there so that it is considered when you. I don't just want to assume it will be there. Where just when you do the actual final.
Ilse, I think you just sold the play. Thank you for that. Next up, Zubayr Charles, who wrote Please Don't Call Me Moffie. He also did the directing, the star lady. All right, that's perfect. Sorry, Zubayr. Sorry, guys. You can leave that here if you want. We're just taking a 5-minute break. You know what that means? Only 5 minutes, right? Yes.
Picture a little boy. A little boy that's born different. From a young age, he's labeled. He's constantly bullied, told that he does not fit in. The little boy acts too much like a girl to fit in with the boys. And even though he plays with the girls, they don't accept him. On the little boy's first day of school, his teacher immediately calls his mother in. It's unnatural for your son to behave this way. As the boy grows older, constantly, each day, at school and at home, in the street, is called a Moffie. The little boy doesn't really understand the meaning of the word, but just in the way that the word is spat and said and uttered to him, he understands that it must be a disgusting word for being a Moffie. It must be disgusting because it's said to him with so much hatred. So each day the boy hears this term and is filled with so much disgust. And as he grows older, he's told that, the cliche sticks and stones won't break his bones, but still the word Moffie makes him feel disgusted. As the little boy grows older, his shine diminishes. The twinkle in his eyes fade away. His flamboyance is swapped for complacency and conformity. Play rugby, stand up straight, stop speaking like a girl, like the things that normal boys do, and stop acting like a Moffie. The little boy grows older, and each day the word gets spat at him with more hatred. Stop acting gay, the people start to say. And the little boy doesn't understand that word either. Gay means happy, you're such a happy little boy, say the people with laughter. Adults, mind you. The boy is now 13 years old, and he finds that he also finds other boys attractive, despite the girls too. He starts high school and he realizes that he can't act like a Moffie. So he pretends, he hides, he puts on an act, and in return, he develops severe anxiety. He doesn't want to be caught out, or found out, or to be seen as a fraud. He contemplates suicide because daily he is told that being gay, bisexual, queer will land him in Jahannam, the hellfire. He is told that by being a Muslim, he will be killed and that Allah has cursed him. He doesn't understand why would Allah create him to be so different and subject him to this life of pain. So he makes salah every day. And in his dua, he asks Allah to change him, to take the pain away, make his life different. But his prayers are not answered, so he considers suicide. At age 17, the boy falls in love. Still, he is confused. Does he like boys, or does he like girls? But he can't act gay, he can't be a Moffie. He will be sent to the fires of Jahannam and burned in the fire forever, for eternity. But he takes the risk. He might as well explore it, because he's been called gay, he's been called a Moffie. So why not try it out? Does he turn his back on Allah? Does he discard Islam just for love? The love he receives becomes toxic, and he gets cheated on, used, abused. But what was the point of everything, putting everything on the line? Still, everyone views the 17-year-old boy as the little Moffie, an abomination, cursed by Allah, even though he's now growing into adulthood. Each day becomes more of a struggle. The grown man is now placed into a world. He wants to love Allah. He wants to live a life as a true Muslim. But daily he is reminded that he cannot be gay or Muslim. It is haram, forbidden. Assalamu alaikum everybody, I greet you in the name of peace. My name is Zubayr Charles, and I'm standing here before you, humbled. I know this is a very difficult topic that we are about to broach, but it's my duty to tell the story. So, without further ado, I'm the writer and director, and this is Please Don't Call Me Moffie.
Knowing I'm going to leave this WhatsApp group. Why would Zayn send such a sick video like this? Since when are we interested in what the Taliban has to say or do? Let me just see what this Moffies are saying in the group. Mushfiq says he stopped working. He's so dramatic. Abdullah had a panic attack. Typical. And Zayn, who sent the videos, now saying focal. But we start something and then never finishes it. And Harun? Yeah, I forgot. He was not long with us anymore. I wonder what Harun would have said about this video. Whatever, man, last scene. You know, that could have nogals been me. Killed like that in a video. I was 17 when I first realized that I was gay. My friends, Mushfiq and Zayn, still make gat om mee kom hier die lui Moffie. But it's alright. They probably have time for jokes. But yeah, as I was saying, it's all very weird to me. At that time, I was in matric, I had a girlfriend, and I was part of the Owens. Poes cringy, I know. But at that time, I didn't expect my life to go that way, you know? Like, I had a girlfriend, I was in matric, like I said, and it all started with my best guy. His name was, let's not call him Ahmad. His name was Ahmad. Yo! We did everything together, no? So, one day after soccer practice, just as about we were gonna shower, I realized that I forgot my soap at home. I was dumb that day because I forgot to pack it in my toiletry bag. So I asked Ahmad if I could use his, and he said it's fine, and that I could use his Raydog shower gel. When he was done, his family was fancy like that. Anyway, so then I realized I couldn't so much just go wash. I must have to wait for him to be done, obviously. So every now and then I would just glance over just to see if he was done showering. Kasam! I swear I wasn't perving. I swear! Wow. Not at first. After that, I couldn't stop looking. I swear my God! You know? But like I said, I wasn't even perving on him or anything. Like, he was my best brah. I didn't see him like that. Of course, until that moment. But yo, he was a sexy like him. All the girls were mal over him, and he was like a brother to me. Like, I didn't come from a liquor family like he did, and I'm not shy to say that things were actually quite cocky down growing up. So when I see now intertwined and liquor, his family was, I actually script because I didn't think families could be so. And his mommy must like me a lot, shame. Well, his whole family did. They could see I was genuine and not like a fake nai. Like his previous brother, who used to peer pressure him into doing dumb kak. Like smoking dacha or saping. Nobody almost follows me. But
Yeah, his mommy probably pitied me. But anyway, so a couple of weeks after the shower incident, I started to see Ahmad in a different light. I fell in love with him. I actually fell in love with him, can you believe it? It was totally unexpected, but a part of me didn't want to acknowledge that I found other Brasse attractive, you know? It's like how girls would comment on other girls and say nice things to other girls. Doesn't mean that they smaak mekaar, you know? Like girls just say domkak to other girls that Brasse would never say to other Brasse. So, I thought it was fine then. But in the stilte, I was starting to find other Brasse attractive also. So as my feelings developed stronger and stronger and stronger for Ahmad, I started to get this, what's the word I'm looking for? Ominous. I started getting this ominous feeling. But anyway, so one night we were watching this American Pie movie. Ahmad was like dumb movies like that. It was winter night and we were getting cold. So we were spooning mekaar. Nothing gay or anything like that. It was late, so like past 12. Out of nowhere, I feel his hands move towards mine. He said it was an accident, but deep down I knew it wasn't. So I had to turn into my stomach. Imagine you had to see me getting stiff. So anyway, so we asked why did I turn around and didn't want to watch TV. And then he said we should cuddle again. And then again, out of nowhere, his hands moved towards mine. And this time, he put his cold hands under my onderbroekie. His hands were cold as ice, but surprisingly it felt lekker because I've been longing for his touch for so long. I tried to stop him, and then the man sticked out with how he seen me looking at him in the showers. I didn't know that he will face that. I didn't even know that he would see me looking at him. Can we just have some fun? Anyway, so it's the Sunday, no? Ahmed someone ghosted me on BBM. Like, he was reading my messages, but he wasn't responding. He even updated his BBM status, and at that time you could see what music the person was listening to on BBM. Maybe I was just a bit insecure, or maybe he didn't have enough to talk to me, or maybe this whole thing was just too much for him. Yeah, I did the biggest mistake of my life. Yes, I still regret it. I sent him a peel pic. Yeah, it's funny now. But actually... So then, the Monday now, at soccer practice after school, the coaches were late. So then the Brasse started making a circle around me. Now I'm checking, we can hype each other up, create the tears, yes! And Ahmed is standing facing me. And then out of nowhere, he gives me a smack. It was push hard on my cheek, and then he replied to him, "Oh, you did just to hit me so, huh?" I can still hear the ripples of the sound of the smack on my cheek, and how the other Brasse were laughing. And as I was about to charge him, to kick him in his puss, the other Brasse held me back. Jy let me go, man! Say! Hoor him, Ahmed. Maak him wys. Isa's nogal 'n Moffie, fucking gay bunny. He's nogal 'n man night to send you pics. Moving final night, Moffie! Those are the words that they were using. And Ahmed just stood there. And he smacked me on my left cheek. Aina! And then he smacked me on my right cheek again. Aina, you chat! And then he gave me a big squirt. Couldn't believe it. My best brother. He was the one that started this whole buzz. I didn't ask him to befool me that night. And I fell to the ground. You know what's the worst part? Ahmed spat in my face. I don't remember much, but all I remember is the brasses started trapping me. Stop it! Aina, my broer, leave me! Aina! Stop it, my broer! Stop it! Stop it! Please don't call me Moffie. Please don't call me Moffie.
Full disclaimer, I think many of the people in my life want to know that it is based on true facts, but that was creative writing. Not a true story, but a story that happens to me. So I just want to begin, as you heard that Isa was talking about the video that was sent. So the whole play begins with the prologue. So I'm just going to read the prologue quickly to you. The play starts with a video projected on screen. Two men hang from a room that's not well lit. The camera pans over their bodies. The two men are whipped by an unknown figure. The unknown figure is wearing a clean white salato and a red shemagh. He screams in Arabic, Al-Lutiya Muharrama fi al-Islam, to the two men hanging from the ceiling. It is clear that the video is recorded in a Muslim or Arab country, but it's unknown the exact location. And this unknown figure continues to whip the two men who are screaming in pain. Finally, he turns to the camera and he states again, Al-Lutiya Muharrama fi al-Islam, before he cuts the video off. And if I do the direct translation in English, that refers to be gay is forbidden in Islam. And a side note, there is no term for gay term or respectful term for gay in Arabic. Gay men are referred to in Arabic countries as Lutiya, Luti, reference to people of Lut, and many other horrific terms that make reference to them being deviants, sexual perverts. But it's quite interesting to see the Arabic or the progressive Arabs who are creating dialogue and language and discourse in the sense that the new word is Mithliya, which is the more respectful term for a homosexual in Arabic, but that's just a side note. So I'm holding the full script here in my hand, so you only of course got to see 10 minutes, but I would like to read to you the log line. So a log line is a very specific type of summary that is used in writing. And I'm going the wrong way, just 1 second. Okay, I'll just set out to my end. So after a video of 2 gay men goes viral in an unknown Arab country, 5 gay men who identify as colored, who identify as straight Malay, and who have grown up in Islamic or Muslim households, react to this video. And it is within this video that we see in Act 1 their monologues, their backstories, their backgrounds. Each character, 5 main characters, react to the video. And thereafter we are introduced to Mushfiq, which is the main character. And through Mushfiq we get to see his own bias and prejudice. So in the play, after we see the 5 characters react to Act 1, it's Mushfiq's 29th birthday. And all his friends throw him a not-so-surprise party, and it is at the party that an unknown guest is invited. And through this unknown guest, and much is revealed, that we see Mushfiq's own prejudice and own bias. So in literature, there's a thing called character archetypes. So I'm just, or character tropes. Please don't get confused with character stereotypes or stereotyping. Okay? I'll just read quickly. Character archetypes refer to universal and recurring symbol patterns that specific characters have in literature or film. Right? So, and the stereotype would be the dumb blonde or the jock character, but an archetype is a very nuanced, specific type of character. And with this play, we know that unfortunately, in literature and film and media, gay men are portrayed in a horrible light. It's just in recent years that we are becoming more progressive. So I'd like to read you some of the terms or some of the archetypes of gay characters in film, media, and in literature. Okay. So, the tragic gay. This is the protagonist in the novel or film or series that unfortunately has to be bullied, and he goes through a lot of dilemma, and it's just a stereotype of the gay boy is being bullied. Right? Second one is, in this context, the straight man character. Not to be confused with the heterosexual character, but the straight man character is the character that kind of centers all the other characters. This is the character where everybody's got a big personality in the narrative. The straight guy character acts as a foil, right? A nice balance to everyone. Okay, that's Abdullah. And then we've made Isa. So Isa is supposed to represent hookup culture, and he represents the typical promiscuous gay character, right? Gay men are so promiscuous, right? But, and then we go to Zayn, he's the flamboyant, sassy gay. And then later on we meet Harun, which is the devout Muslim, and we meet Harun's wife, who is Fatima, and she is seen as, or the archetype there would be the oppressed Muslim woman. So with this play, I feel it is my duty to tell the story, to break negative archetypes and stereotypes, and with each character we are revealing that gay men are not just the sassy character, the promiscuous gay, the tragic gay. There are so much more to individuals, gay men, or however people are identified on the LGBTQIA+ spectrum. So it's a very difficult topic. It's one that we need to discuss, one that we need to talk about. And yeah, I'm Zubayr Charles, and I hope you enjoyed that. So, yeah.
Thank you so much for that. Thank you, Anzio. That was great. Zubayr, just to add to what you just said, it's quite obvious right from the beginning that Isa's character is also not a victim. And that to me is very new, the way they comment on the video. And that just sort of signals that this is a very complicated and dense play with regards to many layers. So thank you also for the analysis with regards to the archetypes. So let's start with, firstly I also want to just say that I really enjoyed the language. The language is incredibly real.
Yeah.
It gives a setting in a sense that it's just, I have no words. I mean, tell me about that.
Okay, I was hoping that somebody would ask that question. So when we refer to theory, so side note, I'm trained as an English teacher. So I did my Bachelor of Arts and Honours in Language Education. And quite thankfully at the end of the year, I'm proud to say that after 3 long years, I'll be graduating with my Masters in Creative Writing. So fingers crossed that everything works out in the end of the year. But when we look at language itself, we need to understand that we need to move away from the idea of bilingualism. Right? So everybody thinks, oh, I speak English, Afrikaans, English is Xhosa. We in South Africa, we are super nuanced and we're so special because the new term is multilingual. So I know this praise and so much emphasis placed on Afrikaans, but Anzio quite finally puts Mengels, I think. So if the way he speaks is how my friends and I speak. So yes, some of the language might be seen as crude, but a lot of the terms are neologisms, like the P word or the N word, but it's used in a different context, even the M word, right? So, as I said, language is constantly evolving, constantly developing. So it's not just English, Afrikaans, your brain does not process language in that way, right? I'm going to box English here, I'm going to box Afrikaans here. We are multilingual, right? Just like we are multifaceted individuals, language is constantly evolving and constantly developing. So I can say to Anzio, for example, and I can speak 3 languages and 1 dialect, and I can say, hi Anzio, did you know dat jy gesien dinge se bag is nou weer besig met the ander man? Like, okay, I don't want to create a fitna, let me rather not say the wrong thing. So I spoke English, I spoke Afrikaans, if you may, and a little bit of Arabic at the end, but then I also spoke Gael, also known as Moffie. Right? So that's 4 languages in one. Right? And what's the beauty of that, that we can have that conversation that many might not understand. So multilingualism, we're moving ahead. Specifically with English, Afrikaans, we're mixing it up. So yeah, so me and my friends and my people, we speak predominantly English, a little Afrikaans here and there, maybe some Gael, some Arabic, but yeah.
No, I think it's a language we all recognize, but to hear it written like that in dialogue, I think that was very, actually, that coming from me is an amazing success sort of compliment, but I mean, I really picked that up. Then the second thing, because I know there are so many facets to this play, the religion.
Yes.
It's interesting because it's not as if the homosexual trope is the offensive one. The religion one is perhaps more offensive. So there's also layers of that. How should we, as your colleagues in the room, who is the audience going to be and what is the perception going to be? How do you foresee that? If you could just give us a glimpse into that world.
I've thought about it a lot, and I think first and foremost, because it's such a difficult topic, or such a controversial topic, I don't think we should shy away from it, first of all. I think that, well, I know that, this is not something that I know that deep down in my heart that unfortunately there are so many boys and girls and non-binary individuals that are all their life they've been told this, that and the other, and we can go back and forth and debate Islamic scriptures, and this one interprets it this way, this one interprets it that way. It was Malala Yousafzai that quite eloquently said in her autobiography, and I speak under creation, that the Quran is written in poetic language, the Quran is a poem itself. So I'm not here to say that this is what you need to believe, I'm not here to preach in here. So even in the beginning, we're touching on the Taliban and the extremism. So it's nowhere that it's said in the Quran that you need to beat your wife if she does not do this, that, and the other. So we're looking more at extremism as a concept, but in 2020, what inspired me to write this play, there was a well-known influencer who started making severely homophobic rants online, and immediately I was inspired and I thought, what can I do to counter it? Me as a writer, me as a teacher, by nature or by profession, how can I counteract this as a creative being? And I thought that, and immediately the idea popped up in my head, because what I found was that many people were using Islam to spew hate. Again, I'm not here to sit and say that this should be accepted or this should not. You decide, any individual will answer to Allah at the end. So you make that decision. But I don't know if it's the target audience, but the message that I want to carry is that Islam in its essence means peace. So if you look at the word Islam, it means peace. So you as a Muslim, if you call yourself a Muslim, number one, you have no right to judge or spew hate, because if you are a Muslim and you regard yourself as a Muslim, you believe that you believe in one God, right? And only Allah can judge. So who are you as a man, walking on this earth to pass judgment to anybody? Again, it's the argument of, we need to bring each other to Islam and guide each other to not to haram things. I get that. But the point is, we don't have to use Islam to place hatred on others. So I hope I'm answering your question in the sense that the play is there to look at both sides of the argument. Okay, we see that the character Harun, who gives up his life as a homosexual man, he decides to get married, and spoiler alert, so he's the unknown guest who comes to the party, and he's there to present his fantasia. I don't want to love as a Moffie, I'm going to love as a life of true Islam, and through the other four main characters we see their argument. But it's through Mushfiq's own bias and prejudice that he can't accept Harun. So you as a gay man want people to accept you. Sadly, we need to be open-minded and we need to accept others and their ideology. So there's a lot of nuance and a lot of layers that we're probably going to need 2 hours to properly discuss. But I sincerely hope I answered that question.
Last from me, and then I'll just open it up. Is it the right conclusion then to make that with all the nuance, the language, the religion, the sexuality, all of them on the spectrum, is there a very distinct Cape Town identity that this play carries?
I think I want to let Anzio answer that, and then I can just jump onto that. But I haven't answered mine, but Anzio, I know you've been, I don't want to say battling, but you've been analysing that throughout this process.
There definitely is a very, very direct and clear coloured identity through the way this guy speaks. Because the Cape Malay accent, we can't change it, and that's why it's so relatable, the character as well, and the words we're using and how he looks, because going through my life as a gay guy and being bullied and everything, this character runs parallel with my life too. And it's very difficult to tell these stories. And this character Isa, like Zubayr and I were actually talking about it, he's actually the most relatable. And well, yeah, but a lot of people can relate to his character and what he does and his arc in the show as well. And the colored identity is the way we speak, the things we use, the things we say. For me, that's the colored identity.
Yeah, but the setting also seems very Cape Townian.
It does, but I think that, yes, with the nuance, if you look at it, coloured, Cape Malay, Muslim, gay, it's a very nuanced play. So to immediately identify as all those labels, and there are many that unfortunately can't live open lives. So there is a very direct audience who is targeted at. But as Anzio explained, although he's not Muslim himself, he identified with the character of Isa. So we're not necessarily pigeonholing the play, not at all. But my master's thesis, I wrote a novel version of a gay male's Capetonian experience of the world. And if you look at the whole world, there are only 14 novels or 14 narratives that look at Muslim gay men. 14. I just track it down and just search on Amazon to get these books. So if I don't tell this story, we're just going to perpetuate more hate. And we need to, people can feel uncomfortable, but we need to look at, there are so many that identify with all those labels. But if we don't create a Capetonian, South African, a coloured narrative around this difficult topic, all the novels that I read were from an Arab perspective, right? So these are all Arab men living in United Arab Emirates and all of those countries, and their experiences. So there's nothing from South Africa. There's probably one, but I don't want to mention him, but he only touches on it on the topic of being gay Muslim at the end of his novel. So yeah, there's no film, there's no series, there's no stage, there's no nothing. Why? Because nobody wants to tackle it. And I thought about it last night. Why did I have to experience the things that I had to experience, sadly, to tell this story, to educate other people? So, great.
Thank you, Zubayr and Anzio. I think I would be remiss if I didn't make a comment. It's very much something that sits with me. I want to congratulate and thank you for being so brave and being so bold to write the story. I wanted to just clarify, you made a very scant reference to loot, and I think that to kind of finish that thought is the reference that we have to homosexuality is not about men having sex with each other, it is about rape. When the soldiers came into the city, they raped the men to humiliate them in front of their wives. And that's how that kind of skewed reference came to what it is to be gay. It was wrong. So that is in my history. I'm a little bit longer than you have, so I've been through all this, and that is what we discovered over the years. So thank you for being able to refer to Luke, but in terms of the audience, to give it further clarification. And then also to say to you, there has been a book and there has been a film. There's an imam, that well-known imam from Cape Town, who made the movie. I saw the movie twice, and it is a brilliant movie. And he also wrote a book about his life. But this story is vital and a message to be told. Mine was very different. I was fortunate. I would not allow them to bully me. I was the bully, forgive but that was a response. I was fortunate that I came from wonderful parents, but it is what a lot of people go through and do. And furthermore, I want to congratulate you also on the language that you use, because otherwise it doesn't come authentic. Yep. And also it's very, very current for today, and particularly in your kind of, even your better areas, your landsdowns and your caymans, etc., etc. And lastly, the name Isa, for people who don't know, Isa is the name of, in Islam, is Jesus. So that's also a great choice of okay, so well done.
Once again, just to reiterate, congratulations. Beautiful, beautiful writing, really a visceral performance. And it's so interesting because a few weeks ago I reread one of my favorite plays ever. It is by an American playwright called Tom Kovash, and he deals with the same themes. And the play is called Cry Havoc. And just as a sense of inspiration, perhaps you should read this play. It is absolutely powerful, and it's about two lovers, an Egyptian and a British man. And this theme of religion, one of the most powerful lines I ever read is where the one lover says to the other one, in Egypt, I can't be me. And in Britain, I can't be Egyptian.
Yeah.
So really, I think you're going to get so much inspiration from it, and thank you very much.
Sorry, can you say the name of the place?
Tom Kirsch, and the place called Cry Havoc.
Cry?
Havoc.
Just to piggyback on that comment, yes, a lot of the books that I've read, despite the homosexuality and the Islamic aspects that the characters experience, each of the four, I think it's about 16 books, and 17 now with Vine's information, shukran so much, that out of the 16 books, they all deal with displacement in society. So a lot of them have been, of course, flee the country, and yeah, it's not something that I could identify with, but yeah, I thought that was such a nuanced theme that all 14 of those gay Muslim authors go to kind of similar narratives, so it's quite powerful. You know.
Absolutely. But I love your cultural lens, so thank you so much. Congratulations.
Hi everyone, good afternoon. I just feel that it is an absolute amazing story to tell, because for me, not being Muslim, being Christian and coming from that background, it's similar. I relate to it. Yes, I relate to it, and I mean, yes, it's set in the main character is Muslim, but at the same time, also dealing with the same background story, the relatable character of being abused and in high school and all of that, and as generations go on, the story is still the same. It's still relatable, it's still there, and I think just the mere fact that you have taken the courage and the bravery to tell the story, it's needed, because we are always so silent and quiet about, okay, no, it's not happening to me, I'm going to just be quiet and just bury it under the carpet. But the mere fact that you are able to tell the story, and I mean, with all the 5 characters that is beating up the main character, I know them. We all know those characters, we all know those people, we all know someone. And I love the concept of the fact of it's open-minded, and I'm always that person to be open-minded of like, it's 2 sides to the story. And I think also within the gay community, always also trying to pull a straight man to be gay, or like, and religion is the same way of like, you must come to the side, you must be saved, or these kind of things. So I have no question, I just want to say thank you for telling the story, thank you for being brave enough and courageous enough to tell the story, because I feel like for many generations and for many people, this is something that's needed, and especially for me being gay, and especially for people that's not gay necessarily, needs to watch this, because for my parents, to be honest, this is something that they would need to watch, to know that, when you started acting, I was like, I feel it in my gut, I feel it in my soul, because this is something I've experienced, this is something that many of us live, that we can't necessarily bring it across our parents. It's almost like they need a visual, you need to see, come and watch this visual of how I've experienced and lived life. So thank you, Anzio, thank you, Zubayr, I really appreciate it. I hope that this is going to be something, but thank you.
Just to add to that, I was also struck by the fact that you start with a video, with the Taliban, etc., because ironically enough, that sets in the current era. And the irony of that is so weird, but now we have social media. Because you're right, it is, of course, as I was just about here. And then I just had one question with regards to what you also said, is what happens to Ahmed?
So Ahmed is non-existent in the story. It was just, each character, like I said, each of the 5 characters.
Let me ask you broader, what happens to the bullies? Where are they now?
I haven't thought of that, but that's a great question, because just something that didn't touch on now, but the physicality of Anzio and portraying different bullies. I just want to commend you in front of everybody here that as a writer, the way you brought the words to life, there was just so much that you brought to the character itself. A side note, when I visualized this character, I was like, Anzio, I'm going to get him to play Isa. However, there was so much that you added to this character that I couldn't think of. And it's something in creative writing that we refer to. You write as a reader and you read as a writer. And many artists, or we become so egotistical that we miss the fine print. So thank you for that critical question. It's not something that I thought about, but in this context, you write as an audience member, and I guess with you view the play with the nuance of being a director or writer, and I think that to all the potential funders or contributors who are interested in this production, I can guarantee you that this play will be written with so much, not only respect, but with a lot of my foundation in writing and creative writing, in the sense that we as theatre makers, we can be so egotistical and we think that, you have to do elaborate, you have to do this, but there's so much beauty in simplicity. But yeah, I didn't think of that.
No, it's just a universal question. We can go and think about that. Thank you so much, Zubayr. It's very clear that this play will have a lot to it. Thank you, Anzio. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Julle kan nou 'n bietjie gesels met mekaar. Ons gaan nie 'n breek vat nie, maar Elisha Zeeman-Knoesen se toneelstuk gaan net gou opstel en dan sal ek haar amptelik voorstel.
Asseblief.
Elisa, wil jy iets vooraf sê?
Ja.
Kan allemaal my hoor?
Kom staan nie vir die mikrofoon, dan kan jy
Maar kan ek sonder die mikrofoon?
Ja, want my Dit is Elisa Zeeman-Knoesen. Dit is al uittreksel uit hulle musical toneelstuk Stoffel. En die spelleiding of die regie was onder leiding van Llandi Beeslaar.
Hier stond het aan.
Hallo allemaal. Ja, soos Kabous gesê, my naam is Elisa en ek wil net begin weer te sê baie dankie aan KAK en Baxter en almal betrokke wat skrywers aanmoedig om uit hulle gate te kruip en hulle kuns met die wêreld te kom deel. Dit is regtig nogal lekker om reg te staan vir 'n verandering en nie gebuk vir 'n rekenaar te sit nie, so baie dankie. Ja, so vir die van julle wat my nie ken nie, ek kom uit 'n agtergrond van poppeteater, universiteit het ek gespesialiseer in cabaret, meer spesifiek satire, en dit is ook hoe ek my skryfstyl oor die algemeen sal definieer, 'n kombinasie tussen die groteske van poppeteater en dan die humoristiese kant van satire. En dit is dan ook wat vandag gaan deurkom in Stoffel musiekblyspel, soos Kabous maar gesê het, ek het vergeet om te noem in die program dat dit is 'n musiekgedrewe produksie. So aangesien dit 'n groot belangrike komponent van die eindproduk gaan wees, gaan ek net vir Graham Lees vra om na die tyd ietsie daar te sê. Maar Stoffel, waaroor gaan Stoffel? Stoffel gaan oor 'n kat wat in 'n nuwe huis intrek, saam met sy eienaars, en baie opgewonde is oor hierdie nuwe lewensreis wat vir hom voorlê. Maar wat hy nie besef nie, is dat daar 'n rotbende wat in die mure van hierdie huis woon en dat die rotte die hele buurt soos die maffia bestuur. En wanneer Stoffel nie doen wat hulle vir hom vra om te doen, is daar natuurlik groot moeilikheid. Stoffel moet weer baie vinnig baie goed bevriend raak, en aangesien hierdie verhouding nie deur die rotte goedgekeur word nie, stel die vraag, gaan Stoffel ingee tot groepsdruk, sy nuwe vriendin verraai en betrokke raak by die misdrywe van die rotte, of gaan hy opstaan teen wat verkeerd is en sê nee, al beteken dit dat hy as 'n buitestander in sy nuwe omgewing bestempel word, en dit is so die storie in 'n baie klein netedop. Daar is natuurlik nog 'n klomp ander kinkels in die kabels waarvoor ons definitief nie vandag tyd het nie. Maar ek sal met liefde met enigiemand gesels as ek belangstel. Goed, so die karakters, daar is 5 hoofkarakters, Stoffel, Yvonne wie ek nou gaan ontmoet nie, want sy is nie betrokke by die inleidingstoneel nie. Dan is daar die 3 rotte, Darius, as jy jou hand kan opsteek vir ons. Darius is die hoofrot in bevel, die groep se leier, en dan is daar Pietjan is Darius se opvolger, hy is so die bouncer en die beskermer van die groep, en dan laastens het ons vir arme ou Snoekie, as jy jou hand kan opsteek, Snoekie is betrokke, wat die ander, baie dankie. Snoekie is die arme bendelid waarvan daar altyd een is wat net eintlik aan almal se pad is. Daar is ook 'n kokkerrot wat 'n pop gaan wees wat net hierdie daar kop uitsteek en kommentaar lewer op al die aksies wat voor hom afspeel. En 'n paar ander kreature wat die rotte se ondergrondse byeenkomste bywoon, pretty much, soos wat ons almal hier sal doen. Goed, stylgewys, ek besef hierdie is baie ambisieus, maar ek glo met 'n baie kreatiewe en 'n knap stylontwerper sal die mense dit kan uitvoer. My idee is dat wanneer die gehoor die speelruimte betree, is daar 'n enorme sitkamerstel of 'n bank waarvan jy net eintlik die onderkant kan sien of die onderdele van die pote, en dit is dan so hoe die gehoor voel selfs soos klein huisdiere in verhouding met hierdie enorme stel. dan sal die rot ook aan die agterkant geprojekteer word as die reusagtige skadupoppe. Llandi het 'n baie goeie idee gehad en genoem, die bank kan 'n mens dalk ook, as dit nou groot genoeg is, op 'n stadium omdraai en dan kan dit dien as 'n alternatiewe speelruimte vir die rotte om in te speel. So dit is die idee vir die sel. Laastens net ietsie oor die mark. Dit is kindervriendelik, maar ek sal dit nie klassifiseer as 'n kindertheaterstuk nie. Daar gaan die karakters gaan nie interaksie hê met die gehoor nie, alhoewel hulle gaan met tye in die gehoor inbeweeg, maar ek sal eerder sê dit is 'n gesinsvriendelike stuk, maar jy hoef ook nie 'n gesin te hê om dit uit te hoor nie. Dit is vir oud, jong, enige iemand wat vermaak wil word, wat weggevoer wil word na 'n ander wêreld vir omtrent 75 minute en dit is hoe lank die stuk sal speel. En dit is dan vir eers al van my kant af, baie dankie almal en ja, gegraam, hier gaan dit gou ietsie sê oor musiek.
Ja, ons het die tafel en die akteurs bietjie voortoestaan om die projek te lees. Dan laat jy werk, dit is beter.
Middag, Ex Grandies, die componist van Stoffel.
Grant in die mikrofoon en praat dit.
Ja, dit is my familie. My agtergrond is musikant, verwerker, componist, poppie, shabeens, concertsale, nou musiekluisteraar. So hier is ons. Die musiek vir Stoffel is 'n klein kamerensemble. So dit bestaan uit klavier, cello, viool wat baie tradisioneel is en dan kontrabas, verskoon my, basklarinet en fagot. Nou, hierdie gee verskeidenheid toonkleure wat ons kan kry, soos meer tradisionele Broadway musiektheater en dan die basklarinet en fagot bring die weer groteske elemente uit, soos wat Elisha na verwys het, die stel wat redelik uit proporsie uit is met die gehoor. Right, nou wil ek net vir julle 'n klein bietjie konteks gee oor die twee liedjies wat julle gaan hoor vir die eerste keer. Vandag vir baie van julle. So die eerste liedjie is Stoffel wat sing, Ek kan nie wag. Nou die begin met 'n inleiding om Stoffel se avontuur in sy nuwe omgewing te begelei. Sy entoesiasme en afwagting word met elke maat verhoog. Stoffel vertel dan sy storie waar hy vandaan kom en deel met ons die meer onaangename dele van sy verlede. Die musiek wissel van bluesy elemente tot tradisionele Broadway klanke. Dan die tweede liedjie is 'n rap vir die 3 rotkarakters met die titel Ons is die rotte. Die begeleiding is hoekerig, koddig en donker. Die trio ry hulle woorde in. Die instrumente verskyn en verdwyn. Die brug stel aan Stoffel 'n ultimatum vir sy toekoms. Ja, ek hoop julle geniet dit. Baie dankie. En dan ons net gou 'n level check net voor. Ja, eers weer.
Is dit iets nodig?
Ja, Llandi is.
Van die verhoog staan 'n massiewe kartonboks. Nuwe huurders het duidelik pas in die huis ingetrek. Teen die ou rusbank se armleuning sit 'n kokkerot wat deur die loop van die stuk byna onopgemerk verskyn en dan weer verdwyn.
Daar kom 'n
punt in elke mens se lewe waar dit tyd is om aan te beweeg, teruggeet van die verlede, maar met nuwe hoop en die opwinding van 'n nuwe môre, is daar altyd die moontlikheid dat jy vir een of ander gemors gaan moet sorg. En dit is waar ons storie begin, in 'n nuwe huis, met nuwe eienaars en 'n kat. Salig onbewus van die aktiwiteite aan die kant die muur, in so 'n donkagtige gat.
Skielik spat daar polystyreen poffertjies uit die boks, uit die verhoogvol. Stoffel sny die reuse boks van binne oop met 'n saag en kom tevoorskyn. Hy strek, snuffel rond en nies luidrigtig. Sy aandag word afgelei deur die skerp lig bo sy kop. Hy kyk op en glimlag breed. Hy haal 'n kampstoel en 'n katspeelding uit die boks. Sy aksies word hier en daar onderbreek deur vreemde geluide vanuit die muur agter hom. speel verder met sy speelding. Agter verskyn die silhouette, die skadu-poppe van die rotbende wat in die muur woon. Uiteindelik sien ons reg deur die muur tot binne. Hulle is besig om kaart te speel. Stoffel draai om, kyk na die muur, vries en hou hulle dop.
Ek kan nie voor my sien nie. Wat het jy nou gespeel? 3 van wat?
De diamante.
Verdomd. Kan ons uit lig op die saak werk? Vervlaste kragdrade wat deesdae so lol.
Dat is hier die kraggie, baas. Het was zo'n snoeikie.
Ek!
Ja, sy kraag moet en alles wat op tafel en de krummel is.
Ek was honger.
Want ik kan niet aan.
Nee, oor nonsens. Julle niks nutte. En die hemelsnaam sorteer dit net uit.
Piet Jan sukkel om 'n vuurhoutjie aan te steek. Wanneer hy dit reg kry, helder hulle op en is die buitelyne van die dirasies duidelik sigbaar.
Daar is hy nou. Dit is Peter. Wie is weer tussen nou?
Ik denk als baas en meer.
Kijk, ik zal die een vat. Kijk nou net. En die muise is hoe rot dit doen.
Wat? Ik win! Ik win! Kijk hier, ik win!
Jy win!
Ik win!
Man! Daar is stamp die tafel om in die kaart te vlieg deur die lug.
Waar steek jy jou kaarte weg?
Nergens, ik beloof.
Nergens! En dit? Wat is dit?
Ek sal gou gaan kyk.
Gaan kyk jy.
Dis die nuwe kat wat so met die nuwe beheerders hier getrek het.
Een nieuwe kat? Wat zal ons onszelf gaan voorstellen? Voor die kinderstories om dat bereiken.
Ja.
Hallo meneer, wat is jouw naam en waar kom jij vandaan?
Die, wat is dit?
Jy is waarskynlik nie. Bekommer maar is goed dat jy wel wonder wie is vol.
Wat die rondbons?
Ons van wat vir
Relax, Opel. Ons sal die pad aanwys, maar eers, jy moet weet, ons klik ran hierdie, hy smak 'n knoop in die oor. Jy beter luister hoor, as jy 'n fout maak,
Eet dit tog.
Wat 'n wonderlike manier om die dag te eindig. Lekker julle. Ja, so feesweek. Wil Elisha wil nog iets sê? Dit sal lekker wees. Kom gou op.
Ek skop. Ek ken nog iemand.
Llandi, wil jy afkom? Wat sê jy, is okay daar? Kies hulle by meer betaal vir die job. Gaan jy vir my sit? Ja.
Sessie,
Ag, Elisha, ek het net baie graag geweet, want dit is wonderlik om die, dis so wonderlik musiekblyspel en gesinsvermaak, soos jy dit noem. Ek bedoel, dit is nie iets wat mense baie sien nie. En dis jammer. So, jy weet, dit is, jy werk al baie lank in die kinderwêreld en so aan. Ek weet ook, jy het jouself in die digitale wêreld later ook gaan bevind. Is dit vir jou lekker om nou alles by mekaar te bring? En hoekom dan nou kinders? Of gesinsvermaak? Ek is nou bang ek sê iets verkeerd.
So, met kinders spesifiek, soos ek gesê het, ek het in cabaret gespesialiseer. In cabaret en kindertheater is eintlik vir my baie na aan mekaar, want albei te maak met humor, met die groteske, met die grootse, so dit het baie natuurlik vir my gekom om te gaan van cabaret en sketskomedie na kindertheater, of nie net spesifiek kindertheater nie, poppe is nie net vir kinders nie, en daar is baie goed wat mense deesdae doen met poppe wat, jy weet, eintlik glad nie eens op kindergehoorig gemik is nie. Maar ja, spesifiek nou 'n musiekblyspel, dit is 'n groot uitdaging en ek weet daar is konvensies en jy weet baie navorsing wat ek eintlik nog steeds moet doen. Maar ek en Graham het ook vroeër daaroor gepraat en gepraat oor, jy weet, hoe pak 'n mens regtig so iets aan? As jy nie weet of dit wat jy doen reg is nie, en die punt is maar net om dit te doen, soos met alles in die lewe. As jy nie, hoe skryf jy 'n boek, daar is dalk handleidings, maar jy skryf ook deur 'n boek te skryf. Jy skryf 'n toneelstuk, jy doen dit net. So hierdie is nou vir ons 'n projek wat ons net gaan doen. En ja, die punt is maar net, ongeag wat by Teksmark gebeur, ons gaan dit ontwikkel en ons wil dit op die verhoog sit en kyk wat daarvan kom.
Die lekker ding van musiekblyspel, soos deesdae met animasie natuurlik, en soos jy terug sê, is crossover, is dat jy dan nou ook 'n bietjie sosiale politieke kommentaar kan lewer. Die buurt is in die noord nou is besig om te versier. Is daar 'n bietjie meer daarvan wat ons in Stoffel gaan sien?
Definitief. So, ek het my storielyn het ek basies uitgeflash, maar ek gaan nog sit en dink aan hoe ek huidige kwessies kan inbring, want dit is tot wat my vermaak is, wanneer jy kan sien, dit is waar hulle praat, dit is wat aangaan en ons kan identifiseer met die storielyn en karakters in ons eie land en as volwassenes. So ja, baie meer daarvan.
Dis natuurlik ook die cabaret van dan.
Ja, so al daai goedjies van mekaar bring.
Ek wil jou nie aan die spot plaas nie, maar ek wil nou vir jou vra oor kinders. Die kinderwêreld. Dink jy dit moet uitgebrei word wat betref die verhoog nog meer?
In die stuk of oor die algemeen?
Nee, in die algemeen.
Definitief. Die probleem is net dat daar is nie budgets vir enige iets nie. En ek dink kindertheater sê maar altyd aan die agterspeen veral. So ek en Marlies en Anishka ons op 'n stadium met ons puppet company gehad en dit is maar spoeg en plak. So dit is hoekom kindertheater oor die algemeen, en dit is sleg om te sê, maar hoekom ons nie regtig so hier en daar waar 'n budget is, so sê nou maar vloei of wat ook al, maar jy sien nie regtig amazing kwaliteit kindertheater in ons land, maar daar is nie geld daarvoor nie. So ek dink as ons meer geld het vir kindertheater en meer fokus het op kindertheater, dan kan ons beter kwaliteit werk lewer en ek dink dit is ongelooflik belangrik want kinders is die toekoms. So dit is, ek dink vir meeste van ons het vir meeste van die mense wat hier sit, hulle sit hier omdat hulle op 'n stadium geïnspireerd was toe hulle jonger was deur iets wat hulle gesien het. So dit is ons verantwoordelikheid om daai inspirasie te skep en die saadjies te plant.
Ja, ek gesukkel te sê kinderteater want dit het so multidissiplinêr geword.
Ja, en daar is soveel, daar is eintlik net soveel meer wat mens daarmee kan doen, maar budgets is maar moeilik.
Wel, ek sien uit om te sien wat gaan van Stoffel word. Baie geluk. Is daar enige vrae of kommentaar aan die gehoor? Saakie.
Maar ek het nou voor die tyd gekon luister en ek was baie mal oor ek het my hele kantoor gespeel.
Ek kan nie wag vir die woordfees nie.
Maar ek het nie besef tot nou toe dat ons actually met stempartye werk nie. So is Stoffel 'n mezzo-sopraan of wat is Stoffel?
Dit is nie 'n vraag wat ek nou vra nie, kry. Van
op die stadium is dit 'n mezzo-sopraan.
Maar
okay, wat is die wond dan?
Stemmer weet ek nie. Nee. Goed, ek moet dit net uitlig. So dit wat julle vandag gesien het en die konsep is wat ons geskryf en geskep het, die res wat ek nog skryf. So ek weet nie wat
begin om met.
Okay. Dis reg. Dit is so baie werk.
Ivan is dalk 'n tenor.
Ja, miskien. Dis 'n goeie idee. Wat sy grym met dan.
Oh, dis haar outfit. She gave it away.
Is dit?
Is daar in die algemeen iemand, wil jy in die algemeen 'n kommentaar lewer op vandag, op die einde van Teksmark? Ilse, jy kan net hier by my bly sit. Ja, Cornelia. Wonderlik.
Ek dink vir baie van ons wat so baie tekste lees en so baie voorstelle kry, is dit werklik moeilik om te kan sê ons dis iets niets. En Stoffel is regtig iets niets. Ek het nog nie wat ek voor so iets gesien nie, vir my. Maar ek wonder tog, het dit potentiaal as 'n volwasse kabaret? Kan dit 'n bietjie vuil en stout wees nie? Miskien. Dis wel die sulke gesofistikeerde musiek, dit vra amper wel dit bietjie.
Dit is eintlik wat ek bedoel het met die teikenmark is nie noodwendig, dis nie hallo maatjies nie.
Ja.
So stout wees, ja, ek dink dit sal eintlik van nature net in elk geval deurkom. Maar om dit te label as volwasse teater, ek twyfel, want dit sal toeganklik wees vir enigiemand.
Write another one, Stoffel XXX.
Ja, ek weet nie dat. Dit is dit kan by beide kante toe gaan. Ek dink dit sal lieflik wees.
Ons gaan, soos ek gesê het, ons gaan nog baie met die teks en selfs met wat julle gesien het, gaan ons ook eintlik nog workshop en ander avenues met dit explore. Dit was nou maar net, jy weet, 'n kort uittreksel van wat die idee rolweg is. So daar is nog baie ruimte vir ontwikkeling en verskillende paaie wat ons kan volg.
Die PG version in die middag en in die aand vir die volwassenes.
Genius!
Ek dink wel vir twee stelle lirieke.
Ja. Okay, ruim. Dit is maar baie tyd soms van jou. Maar baie dankie vir die mooi woorde.
Baie dankie almal. Ek wil net gou lees wie almal in Stoffel is, want ek ken van hulle, maar daar's 'n helse crowd. Dankie aan Llandi Beeslaar wat die regie gaan doen en ons sien baie uit. Stef Gerike, Knoesen, Anushka Kree, altyd van my en Marlies Viljoen en natuurlijk Grimlees. En dan, dankie. En ek wil vir julle almal dankie sê wat julle dag was ook, want ek dink dit is moeilik om tyd uit jou dag uit te kerf en sommige mense kom net in vir hulle eie stukke en so, maar dit, soos ek aan die begin gesê het, dit gaan uiteindelik oor gesprek en nuwe idees en vandag was baie suksesvol. Dankie aan al die skrywers en hulle spanne en baie dankie aan die gehoor en al die mense in die media wat ook bydra om die kunste aan te hou maak werk. Dis baie min dat hulle bedank word. Dankie.